What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're about to go live with the man who mogged, Adam Mockler. Be sure to tune in. We're going live with Martin Bertao, president of the College Republicans of America, briefly. Tune in.
She ain't into no drama. She ain't into no.
What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome. Oh, goodness. There we go. Now we're a little smoother. What's going on, everybody? We are here for a very special live stream with the man who mogged Adam Mockler, Martin Bertao, president. Am I getting that right? President of the College Republicans of America? Oh, hold on. I can't hear you. Every time it's either me or somebody else where the mic doesn't work.
Okay.
There we go.
Is it good now?
Yeah, but
okay,
you just saved the stream because it wouldn't have been a kaiclips stream if the mics were all working. But good to see you, Marty.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Kai. Yeah, we're having the two moggers of Adam Mockler here on, the guy who did it in the scene, the one who's doing it behind the camera. So
that's so real. And hey, what's going on, guys? Great to see you there in the YouTube chat. We got question 0007, Free Kick Maestro, Brenosh. Good to see you guys. Be sure to share the stream. Be sure to show us some support. Support Martin, obviously. And we'll let you, plug all of your social media. But just to get started, I mean, yeah, this is the power duo. It was kind of, I'll be honest, it was kind of a sucky episode all around. I was really, disgruntled because I didn't get as much screen time. I thought I wasn't going to get enough screen time because I just had the one debate. But the producers had sat me right behind Adam the entire time. So there was no shortage of kaiclips reactions. But just overview from 3,000 feet in the air. What do you think? How do you think you did coming out of it, if you even remember, because it's been so long? What were your initial impressions?
Yeah, I mean, I when it ended, I thought it was great. I mean, I know we're not allowed to opine too much on their editing discretion, but I will say that it was a lot worse in person, I think, than they made it seem on camera. There was a lot of time where kind of Adam, after when I was talking with them, just kind of sat there like, and they cut a lot of that out. But I do think that people at home watching did get to see the kind of broad gist of kind of how the debate went. I mean, it's a pretty typical trend when you're debating liberals. Whenever you push back on kind of that headline sort of talking point from them, then they actually get out of their depth. Then they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that was pretty evident with Adam. But I thought overall it was a great episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, That's one of the things. A lot of people they'll and we can't again say way too much about the editing, but a lot of people do have this assumption that because it's maybe more left leaning Jubilee is that it's going to be totally edited and doctored in a way that's dishonest. It's usually not. Like they usually keep the majority of the content, but you're right. There's some filler moments that appear worse on camera that may or may not appear the same way on video as they do in person. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like for me, sitting there watching the debate, there was a lot of rough moments, and we'll get into some of those. We probably won't get into all of them just because, we have to abide by our contract, the 60-40 content split. But I will say, it was so refreshing to see you go up for that claim about, obviously you went up for, did you go up for the fascism claim at the beginning, or that was what you brought up at the end?
That's what I brought up at the end. I wanted to go up for it, but no, I went up for econ. But yeah, people before me for econ, I mean, not even to my own horn or anything, but a lot of them weren't doing too well.
No, it was rough. It was really rough.
But I thought it ended up being pretty good. I mean, on like the fascism point too, I mean, it was such a ridiculous point that I kind of had to bring it back up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't think people know either that like this was filmed. When was it filmed? I think it was in October. It was a couple months ago. Like it was pretty close to Charlie's assassination too. And I thought it was just crazy that we were like already going back to the fascism point, literally like I think a month after Charlie's assassination.
Yeah. Well, and I think the left, honestly, and this is frankly, they did a good job at this. I think it's what they have to do. They have to start debating this talking point and trying to and try to nip it in the bud. And unfortunately, the right wing has been very distracted with this infighting and not conspiring, but I guess creating conspiracy theories regarding the circumstances of Charlie's death. That we really lost this major opportunity to point out that there is a huge shift. And by the way, the recent studies corroborate this. Whether or not historically, the right has committed more violent acts or has contributed more to casualties through political violence, it is the case that it's trending leftward, especially in the last, I'd say since the Trump presidency, since 2016. Most of the data that's being collected is being collected either prior to 2020 or has these kind of interesting cutoffs otherwise. But the majority of recent data does show that there is a trend leftward when it comes to the amount of political violence that's occurring. So I do think it's smart tactically for the left to just try and get on top of that talking point.
Yeah, 100%. And even on the political violence thing, even those studies that they bring up a lot of the time to try to say that the right is more violent, like a lot of them are just complete bogus.
True.
Like a really good example. So the main study they'll bring up to say that, this is the first year, I think, for how many years where left-wing violence has outshined the right. Even that study says that 2020 had more right-wing violence than left-wing violence. Like how asinine is that? Because a lot of the time in these studies, they count any hate crime as being right-wing. They count like pretty much any category that can be like some construed as like discriminatory, whatever, they count as right-wing political violence, which is just nuts. Yeah. And like that's the reason that you have those numbers.
No, 100%.
Yeah, with political targetings, political assassinations, I mean it's just abundantly clear that that's left because that's their ideology. Because I tweeted this out earlier today. Like when they call us fascists, all that's doing from upper leadership is it's setting a permission structure for the crazies on their base to go out and do something about it. Because when they say fascist, what that means is Hitler. Like they're basically calling us Hitler without saying it.
Yeah, 100%.
And to your average lefty, what do you do with Hitler, right? Like that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and this is what I brought up, and I wish I would have known the study at the time, been able to cite it, and I wish I would have been able to go up. That was the prompt that I so badly wanted to go up for. And I was able, luckily, to address a bit of this argument during the weekend of AmFest. So a couple of weekends ago, when the UNF America Tour people were having their debate tour, they were trying to do their Charlie Kirk thing. And I was able to debate actually the guy who was the last person to talk to Charlie Kirk. His name is Hunter Kozak, Staxioms. And talking with him, one of the things that I brought up, there is this study that was produced by the Cato Institute just a couple of years ago concerning verbiage and rhetoric and morality, right? And the phraseology of this study was whether it is morally permissible to punch Nazis. And I actually really like the language of that study, because that's what a lot of this gets to. It's like, is it morally permissible? Is it, then tolerable? Asian Mormon. Sorry, we're getting interrupted with people throwing money at us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got Asian Mormon who's already sent in $10. He's like our George Soros. He's like our Asian Mormon George Soros.
$10.
All right. Well, we need one of them, I guess.
That's exactly. Hey, Asian Mormon, thank you so much, big guy. Yeah. So this was really a crazy study. The results that it produced, I actually still have them down here somewhere. I want to pull them up just because I don't want to misquote them. It was really crazy to look into this. There is, and I actually used this in a video that I put out not too long ago. What they measured is between different political groups, how they reacted to that question, right, of whether it was morally permissible or morally acceptable to punch a Nazi. And this was from 2017. And this is, so we're talking post-Trump presidency initially. The framing, is it morally acceptable or unacceptable to punch a Nazi? And here's the way it breaks down. 32% of all Americans, of course, extrapolated from the polling data, say it is morally acceptable to punch a Nazi. 32% of moderates say it is morally acceptable to punch a Nazi. 21% of strong conservatives believe that it is morally permissible to punch a Nazi, probably because they're often the ones that are being called Nazis. And 51%, so even a slim majority of strong liberals, feel it is, or say it is morally acceptable to punch Nazis. So I think this gets into kind of the rhetorical framing. They, and this is one of the things that unfortunately I didn't articulate very well with Hunter, but what I wanted to say to Adam Mockler is, look, when you say the word fascist, you're thinking about 14 tenets or characteristics, either by Lawrence Britt, who wrote in the Secular Humanist magazine these 14 tenets that are often cited, or you're thinking about Umberto Eco. And
that's lot of people are thinking about, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's not what the common man is thinking. The common man, when you hear the word fascist or Nazi, is thinking Hitler. They are thinking the Nazi regime. They're thinking people who already have an implicit association with violence. And the issue is that there is this constant conflation of these two terms, the way it's being used academically and then the way it's being heard and then used by, the mainstream. And it begins to create a situation where, look, you can academically call people Nazis, but then it's being received by people who are not understanding the term academically and who are nonetheless going to react to it in this way, which is seeing it morally acceptable to violently pursue or persecute your political opposition because they have now been labeled by some of your academics even Nazis and fascists. And when you do that, when you create that kind of a culture, that kind of a spiral, all of these condemnations of violence start to sound very hollow.
Yeah, and exactly. And kind of even to build on that too, that definition of fascism, being Hitler, being Mussolini, like being Stalin, that is the definition actually that, people like Chuck Schumer, Kamala Harris, like prominent Democrats, that's the definition they're going for, right? Because when they go up there and they say Trump's going to govern as a fascist, they're not going up there to have an academic debate over the 14 characteristics of, by Bertao. They're going up there to say that, hey, if you elect Trump, he's going to go put you in gas chambers. Like that's what they're trying to do. Like, and it doesn't take much, ideological, jumps to get from that to, okay, it's okay to go kill them and to go kill people who support them like Kirk. Like that is actually what they're trying to do. Now, this isn't necessarily to say that Kamala Harris wants Trump dead, but this is to say that that is the definition they're going for. And when you have language from people like Mockler calling us fascists or calling Trump a fascist, people who support him supporting fascism, that's a very easy jump to make for those 51% of liberals who think it's acceptable to punch a fascist.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, Miguel was clip farming really hard, but his clip made it, so he won, which is based.
Yes.
And this was the moment where he said, and this was in the trailer that everybody saw a couple days prior, this was when he was talking to Adam Mockler, and he's like, look, so you think he's a fascist, you think he's a pedophile, you think he's all of these things. Why don't you want this guy dead? Like, what is the functional difference between calling him all of these things and saying that he should be killed? And then that points out, by the way, the hypocrisy, because it's like, if you're describing this person and you believe all of these terms, yeah, like in an orderly society, the solution is like, yeah, lock them up in jail forever. And I don't support the death penalty, but it is at least to persecute this person to the full extent of the law. And every once in a while, you do have those mask off moments where you have the lawfare against Trump in the aftermath of Joe Biden's election, and you begin to see that they actually do take it serious. You know, when Donald Trump or J.D. Vance or whoever, whichever Republican politician calls a left-winger Hitler or a fascist, that word is being perceived very differently by the right wing because they're not perceiving it with the same weight that the left wing perceives it. And they also just kind of have this implicit understanding that, yeah, you know, this is rhetoric and we're drawing these comparisons, but these guys actually, it's not like they want to kill Jews. Like, we all understand that. The left doesn't see it that way. The left literally thinks these people want to kill people, which means
exactly.
that... Yeah.
And you... Yeah, not to cut you off, but
like,
you can see that pretty obviously too when you have actual professors come up in the middle of class and drawing realistic comparisons. They're saying, oh well, what Hitler did to the Jews, Trump is doing right now to Mexicans and illegals. Like they're actually trying to draw that comparison because they're trying to make the claim that Trump is literally Hitler.
Yeah,
like that is actually their claim. And
that by the way, also, just in and of itself is so funny. Like the comparison of like kicking people out of your country versus like just trying to kill them all here. It's like, it's a totally different thing. And, you know, the idea of the border wall, it's like, okay, sure, you don't want people illegally immigrating. But it's like, look, these are totally different situations. Like concentration camps and like trying to put somebody in a place so that we can just like send them back to their home country. Totally different things.
100%. And even like you said earlier, when the right calls people fascist, when Trump calls Kamala a fascist, it's far different from when Kamala does it. Because when Trump is doing it, it's in the way of responding to rhetoric from Kamala Harris. It's not Trump going up there and saying don't elect the left because they're going to govern as fascists. It's Trump going up and saying they're calling me a fascist, but they're the real fascists. If you want to see authoritarianism, look no further. It's that sort of comparison that we're doing. Whereas, like I said, on the left, it's them literally calling us Hitler and them literally saying, if you elect them, you will die. Like that is the connection they are trying to make.
No, literally. And it's like, I don't know. This is one of those things where I hate the whole dialectic. I just wish we could forever get this stupid dialectic within our politics of like everything and whoever the bad guy is that you're against is like Hitler or the Nazis. Like I've long talked about how you need to, especially as Christians, like we have metaphysical evil. We don't need to contain all of metaphysical evil in like the regime in Germany in the 1940s and specifically like in Hitler. And I think there is actually something maybe sacrilegious about that. Like it cheapens religion when you start to make human beings into like the most metaphysically, or ontologically awful thing, right? We have that. We have Satan, and Satan, yes, works in the hearts of people, causes violence, causes disruption, whatever. But I do think it cheapens our discourse. And it also just, we've gotten to this point of slop where, like we've been talking about, one side is using this term in a way that genuinely is going to affect like lawfare against the other side, locking them up, justifying their like murder or their mistreatment publicly. And then the other side does it literally to just say, hey, you call us that, but that's like what the Nazis actually did themselves. Like it's more of a gotcha than it is a true condemnation of who they are. So exactly. Yeah, that's just a little bit of an overhead. I love the fact we can talk about this because this is all the stuff I wish I would have been able to say. Yeah. And the funny thing is too, this is one of my favorites. There's a long line of this. Sarah Stock pointed this out well. The other reactions culturally are like, dude, Luigi Mangione literally did become a sex symbol. When Richard Spencer was punched in the street, like when he was just straight up assaulted and he was just standing there talking, that became a meme. That became a GIF that was, shown all around the internet forever. These people have no shame about it whatsoever.
Right. And I think that there's kind of a more broad commentary there too. I mean, of maybe something more sinister of, not to get too conspiratorial here, but people of the left in general trying to normalize violence. I mean,
yes.
And I know some conservatives, kind of like some of the Kirk memes, but even that stuff, like that is at its core normalizing a political assassination. Mm-hmm. And I think we as conservatives need to not hop on that train, because what that is it's the left trying to go out and normalize them going out and killing us. It's them turning that into a joke. and them turning, what should be a very real and serious discourse about, where they are as a party and how they reacted to it, and turning that into some sort of meme. When, in reality, it actually was a really big issue that people in the immediate aftermath of Kirk's assassination were just blatantly disrespecting the guy. And more seriously than that, not only were they disrespecting and joking about him, but they were celebrating it. Because the joking about it is one thing. Like, you can have a poor taste of humor. Like, that's, again, not a good thing. But the genuine celebration of it is where we actually have a problem with the left wing kind of as a whole, because that is a cultural problem that we see, that is the ideological extension of them calling us fascists.
Yeah.
That, to them, when Kirk got assassinated, and you saw us on TMZ when people celebrated it, when they saw Kirk got assassinated, that to them was just another Nazi getting killed. That to them was just, one check mark off the list. That is what exists to the left culturally, and that's why they go out and joke about it and turn these sorts of things into memes, like Luigi Mangione or Charlie Kirk, Richard Spencer, or any of these other people.
Yeah.
And so they can continue to do it.
Yeah, and I think of all the things that you could genuinely claim are maybe fascistic, and again, to, these 14 tenets or whatever, there's some of those characteristics that genuinely just condemn any organized religion or any form of right-wing thought ever, because it's like, oh, traditional gender roles, like a patriarchal society. They have stuff like rampant sexism. Yeah, well, who decides that? It's like, if a liberal is deciding what rampant sexism is, it's like any joke that anybody makes qualifies as one of the tenets of fascism. So the tenets in and of themselves are a bit of the problem. But one of the things that truly ought to be condemned is, yes, the shutting down, this absolute shutting down of speech. And this is something that the left has engaged in a militant and in an anarchistic way since, or anarchic, I don't know what the right they've they've engaged in that since like before 2016. I mean, think back to that era. I am old enough to remember when Ben Shapiro came to the campus of the University of Utah, and there were police helicopters surrounding the campus. The events were shut down because there was such a riot about bringing out a conservative commentator. And this war over the college campuses, and this is, by the way, why the fact that this dialogue was focused on a liberal college dropout and then conservative college student, it adds a cool layer to it. The events on college campuses are truly where you see this the most, where you see the different way that left-wing violence manifests itself. We absolutely cannot adopt the framework that the only violence that we ought to care about is the violence that results in casualties. Is property more important than people? Obviously not. But there is a chilling effect that occurs when you have murders that silence speech. And that's the way that it's working with left-wing violence. I mean, look at a lot of the right-wing so-called violence. In the ADL study that's sometimes cited, they literally include this white supremacist guy who, like, in a bout of domestic abuse, murdered his wife. There is no ideological motive there. It was violence by a guy who was right-wing, who was a white nationalist or whatever, and it's included in the study. That is absolutely not something that has a chilling effect on the society at large. However, if you kill Charlie Kirk, the left actually bets on the fact they are doing it because they are depending on the fact that this will produce a chilling effect on free speech, and it has. At Utah Valley University, I have insider knowledge. I've got inside ball knowledge about this. At Utah Valley University, we were trying to do a debate tour, and this debate tour, by the way, little plug, is going to kick off in 2 days at the University of Utah. It's the Reawaken debate tour, and Marty, you're going to be a part of that later on, right?
Yes, I will. It'll be very good. They're coming to my alma mater, Berkeley. Or I don't want to say alma mater. The school I currently go to, UC Berkeley.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're coming to Berkeley here a little bit later in the tour, so I'll be part of it then. But yeah,
and that's going to be huge.
Fantastic.
Yeah, talking about 2016, UC Berkeley and everything like that, it's going to be nuts. But what has happened at UVU, and I understand, this is a place where a political assassination has occurred. They need to ramp up security. But what it has caused is a chilling effect where they will not even have partisan events. And then there's other campuses. This is very interesting. There are other campuses that would not allow us to hold a right-wing event. But then when we coordinated with the college Democrats and they wanted to debate us, then the school accepted it. So I think it's, I'm not going to be the guy who's saying there's a double standard, because we all know it exists. This is just something that is not even worth repeating. However, the issue is that the institutions and the right wing, to some extent itself, by the way it's responded to the shooting of Charlie Kirk, have basically said to the left, it works. They've basically said, you killed the biggest, free speech advocate on college campuses, and it worked. We're not going to do these right-wing events anymore, is basically what happened. And that's the worst part of it all.
Exactly. And I mean, I think Matt Walsh actually had a really good, a little blurb on this. It took us, I think it was like no less than 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk's assassination, just as a movement, completely unravel, start condemning each other, and just start ripping at the shreds.
Yep.
Like the aftermath of Charlie Kirk, the day after, I recall all the conservatives saying, this is actually going to make us stronger. This isn't going to work. And then we immediately signaled to the left by, just infighting and just tearing ourselves apart that it works.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Amfest after Charlie Kirk's assassination was literally just a civil war on stage.
Yep.
It is a very saddening thing as a movement that we weren't able to come together after it, because we're, like I said, we're signaling to the left to do more things like this. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's pretty obvious that they're going to do more of these, because it got what they accomplished. I mean, if you listen to popular streamers like Destiny, like in the aftermath, he said conservatives are saying they're scared. Good, they should be scared. Like it's just so obvious what they want to do, and we as a movement are letting it happen.
Yeah, no, I look back at what happened, and I can't help but feel this idea that we have blundered the most important moment for taking back the culture that we have ever had. And now it's like, people genuinely are going to remember the memes about Charlie Kirk more than they're going to remember the fact that he was even assassinated. So anyway, let's, all that aside, this is a good kind of preface to everything that we're going to be going over. Let's jump into to the actual content of the debate. I do want to say,
perfect, let's do it.
And this is a little bit of a loose live. We were just going to pre-record this and it was going to be more professional, but we're doing it live, so we have the chat to interact with. And people are asking, by the way, if you're a Christian. I saw that comment in the chat a little earlier.
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah, I am a Christian.
Let's go. Which denomination?
Figuring it out, leaning towards going full Catholic, though.
Okay.
That one I'm figuring out a little bit.
Okay, he's Cath curious is what we're hearing.
Yes.
But hey, very epic. We love our Christian brothers. Yes. I just want to respond real quick. There's some crazy comments. Supposedly there's a 50-year-old man stalking me.
Oh wow.
Are you, Nora, are you saying he's stalking me? Is he talking about me? Please clarify in the chat. Yeah, anyway. So let's jump into the actual content. I think Nora's talking about crazy things. Let's jump into the content here of the actual thing, if I can even find it. Give me just a second here. And I hope that the screen share is going to be nice to us, but I'm a little bit doubtful. And if worse comes to worse, you may just have to do it. But here we go. Let's pull up this debate, this epic moment, this moment where our friend Adam Mockler got mogged. Let's jump right into it, everybody. And I think, yeah, perfect. I think we see it just fine. I want to see even if I can make us a little bit bigger. I'm not one of these Discord kids, dude. I was never one of these people that did Discord debates.
No, neither am I. This is my first time streaming on Discord here. So.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, you and me both. We're rookies.
Oh, we're learning on the fly here.
Okay. Yes, me. Is it DJ Academics? Is DJ Academics stalking me? Brought me up the second I went live. Very interesting. Yeah. DJ Academics.
Your first fan.
Yeah. Well, DJ Academics, he's prolific in the rap space, I think is what he's most well known for. Maybe we'll react to that afterwards, but hey, let's start this.
Now you're saying he's the most corrupt president.
I say we'll watch the intro. No, everybody's seen the intro. Which part do you want to jump to first? I think Sarah's will be fun to react to. We can react to Miguel too. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good. Let's do Miguel and then Sarah.
Perfect. Oh, and pause real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to give everyone some context here. So Miguel goes to UC Berkeley as well. He's probably my best friends. He is the chair actually for our California College Republican state organization.
Let's go.
So Miguel's fantastic. Yes. We'll see how he does here.
Alrighty. Hey, let's jump on into this. There we go. And let me know if you want to pause at any point. No problem at all. Just let me know.
Perfect. College.
Hey there, Adam.
How you doing?
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Nice to meet you, Miguel.
All right. Well, I guess I have a few questions.
Hold on.
Sir,
I gotta pause it. I'm bad about pausing. Did he just say Miguel? I swear he just said Miguel.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Nice to meet you, Miguel.
All right.
He totally said Miguel, dude. Oh my gosh.
Talk about performative. Like,
Literally.
Like, just talk about the performative liberal. Like, really encapsulated right there. He introduced himself as Miguel. Nice to meet you, Miguel.
Nice to meet you, Miguel. That's based. Honestly, Adam Mockler's based for that. Just like blatantly mispronouncing Hispanic names. I gotta start doing that. Nice to meet you, Juan. Nice to meet you,
Jazzy.
So good. So good, man. And then let's see, somebody subscribed. Linda, hey, Linda Prince, thanks for subscribing. Everybody, again, who's watching the stream, be sure to follow Marty on Twitter. What is it, Martin Bertao?
Yeah, at Martin Bertao.
Yeah.
His last name is Bertao. Yeah.
And now I'm doing the Adam Mockler thing. I'm mispronouncing your name.
It's starting.
But yeah, so
I'll say
anyway.
Before you resume, what a face to pause on there
Dude,
for our buddy
crazy,
Miguel.
crazy pause poll. All right, let's jump back into this, and we'll try to keep watching a little longer this time.
Few questions.
All right,
Sir, I want to start with.
How's the audio
you
chat?
seem to
Let
be
us
kind
know.
of in newsland, and I kind of want to come back down to reality.
Sure.
So I'm a college student at UC Berkeley.
Mhm.
I've had a student, it's documented online on Instagram, come up to me after class, vaguely threaten me, and say a bunch of stuff.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
Sorry about
university
that.
does absolutely nothing. I filed a report, I did everything. Wasn't even removed from my classes, and this is all documented and up online. So I, as a student, don't have the freedom to go share my opinions. The day Charlie Kirk died, we
Yeah.
requested security. The university turned down our request for security. These are the real examples of fascism that we see every single day.
Are you trying to equate one random
No.
student? Wait, no, hold on. Are you trying to equate one random college student who I condemn,
No.
who I think is with Donald Trump using his power to try to consolidate as much of? No, you're not. Okay, so what are you trying to say?
So I'm trying to say that there's a system of the university here that's set up against
By
conservative
system, do you
students.
mean one student?
No, I mean that there's a system that I reported this person to and nothing happened.
that's
this
fascism
is part
to
of
you.
This is part.
This I just want to start. I hate this disingenuous argument. The problem is that the left, first of all, the academia is largely liberal, which provides this advantage if you want to go, quoting statistics. This is not me being anti-intellectual and saying statistics don't exist, but I know that the old talking point used to be, facts don't care about your feelings. It's like, hey, feelings don't care about some of your facts, honestly. It's like these structures literally exist. They are being weaponized. What Miguel is talking about is true on many campuses. And a lot of leftists, they have this just kind of cognitive dissonance about it because they can easily just harp back to, well, do you have a study to support that? A lot of these things don't even get studied.
Well, because they can't be measured, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because what we're talking about here is something that is normalized for leftists to do, which is go and harass conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty commonplace. Like you and I are in college. I think any conservatives in college who's open about their beliefs know that you will get harassed in class. Like in your discussions, you will get marked down. You will get it will be hell for you. They will make life literally hell for you on our universities. And like Miguel said, we even have people following you after class and harassing you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a conservative ever tried to pull that shit on any sort of liberal on our campuses, like, can you imagine the media backfire that would happen to that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an obvious double standard.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the few things that you can study, right? Like the Federalist Society has reported on this because they have a vested interest. At best, 1 in 30 law school professors is conservative leaning. At best. This is like an insane thing. Academia, and the problem is, who gets to pick the next lineup of professors? Who gets to pick who becomes faculty? Current faculty. That's the way that they go about selecting. And so you have these institutional issues, and the left always responds with, well, maybe it's just because we're right. It's like, that sounds so anti-intellectual. But yeah, I think this is just super frustrating because obviously these structures exist. And any college student who is engaged in either club, college Democrats or college Republicans, is going to be able to tell you that there is not the same amount of opposition equally. So we'll dive back into this. But I really liked when I heard Miguel bring up this anecdote, which is an anecdote, but it's representative of many things. And it is representative of how one of the major colleges in the United States is organizing itself and conducting itself. I really like that because, it speaks to the prompt of the college students. And it's also, indicative of a larger trend. I thought it was a little bit dishonest that, Adam tried to just dismiss it, but you're going to see this throughout. It's very dismissive. And then he doesn't have to stake a claim about anything. He can say, I condemn that. And then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, okay, well, what does that actually matter that you're condemning? It happened. Like, what do you mean you condemn it?
Exactly. And then, of course, if a Republican, as many did, if we condemn stuff, that doesn't matter because it's still indicative of the larger group. And it's like, you can't eat your cake and have it too, buddy. Anyway, we'll jump back.
Stifling conservative speech on campuses. And my point here is, and we saw back in the 2020 election, the suppression of the Hunter Biden story. I don't think the election was actually, ballots were thrown in and it was rigged. I don't believe that.
So you think you do or you don't? Sorry.
I do not believe that.
You don't think the election was stolen? There's probably a few people here who disagree with you. Does that worry you at all?
I think it's slightly worrying, but
it's slightly worrying that people think the election was stolen because they were
totally off topic now, by the way.
Table on my campus, I have students telling me that Charlie Kirk deserved to die, throwing up L's in my face, laughing at me.
That's terrible, but you can't equate one or a few random students.
You're equating
the president of the United States convinced a large portion of the country the election was stolen when it wasn't.
So
I highly condemn these random. Okay,
I
just want to ask you a question.
Pause here.
You're saying that this is foul.
Sorry, I'm making my mate, dude.
You're good.
Yep.
No, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh shit, caught him in the middle of the pour.
No swear words.
But
you're on the Kai stream now.
Oh, shoot, my
Last
bad.
time, or you're out of here. No. I'm joking. Or am I? Anyway, yes.
So, but like this whole dialogue that he tries to get to around the election, I mean, it's so asinine because it goes back to this claim that they're again trying to make, that just because you question election results that you're somehow a fascist. I mean, if anything, that is about one of the most democratic things that you can do is challenge an election result. I mean, there was nothing that Trump did in the lead up to that was actually illegal. Like, I know they tried to charge him for January 6th stuff, but he went through the legal means through our courts and trying to challenge stuff. It didn't happen, and then they tried to come up with some legal theory. It didn't end up going through, and then Trump left office once it was certified for his opponent. There's nothing fascist about that. That's what Al Gore did up until the Supreme Court struck it down. Mm-hmm. Like these are literally the same things. The only difference is that Trump just wasn't a cupcake about it and actually kept saying like, yeah, no, this is stolen, unlike Al Gore. Mm-hmm. I mean, and to liken that to fascism is just one of the most ridiculous things that they can do.
Yeah,
because again, they are saying that because you think the election had some problems, you are Hitler. Like that is their claim.
Yeah, and I would say it's like, I love that, by the way, because at no point is he saying, no, the elections don't matter. What he's saying is, no, the election was rigged. He's saying that there was something undemocratic that occurred. We're trying to rectify that. And there were plenty of things that were, suspicious about it. This election was the one with the highest amount of mail-in ballots. There were ballots being solicited. Whether or not we agree that there was, fraud at every single machine, and the machines themselves and the technology behind them, that's a whole question in and of itself that needs to be worked out. But whether or not, we claim that, it is the case that this is an election unlike any of the prior elections. This was a particular time. It ought to have been scrutinized. Like, I think it was literally just our obligation to scrutinize it or to hold it to higher scrutiny than any of the prior elections. And then past that, you have the media being weaponized to subvert and distract from certain stories that could have made a larger dent in the actual election's result. And this is, where we get to the Hunter Biden laptop story. Whatever the case was, the fact that this was being intentionally limited in the amount of people it would reach by these social media companies, by Meta or Facebook, that is something that is genuinely problematic. That is the weaponization of the media in order to change the result of an election, which, not to, do the whole hypocrites. not to do that whole thing. It is something that ought to have been scrutinized to a large degree. And I think maybe there was a rhetorical failure on the part of the right. But I think what's important is what you mentioned, what is mentioned later on. Trump kind of implicitly recognizes that he's no longer the president by the fact that he doesn't continue to act as president. He doesn't attempt to use the military to, to continue having a stranglehold over the country the way that you've seen many military dictatorships and fascistic coups take place. Beyond that, if you want to talk about what the military did during his presidency, some of the direct orders that he gave the generals in the military, they are literally on record admitting in news articles that we could pull up here on stream, that they just straight up ignored what he said or interpreted it in a totally different way than he meant it. That is a problem. These are issues. And I don't think that talking about, the election in a way that tries to actually solidify the result by ensuring that it was democratic, I don't think that's a problem.
100%. I mean, me and Miguel talk about this all the time, and really, if you're wanting to know what's actually fascist, one of the or not fascist, I should say authoritarian here. One of the most authoritarian things that one can do is as an executive try to not enforce the law, and this kind of also runs counter a little bit to their kind of discourse around illegal immigration. As an executive, as the executive branch, you have an obligation to uphold the laws of your country and uphold your immigration laws. And I can really think of nothing more authoritarian than the executive branch coming and saying, no, Congress, we're actually not going to follow your laws that are on the books surrounding our immigration laws because we have our own separate beliefs around who should be in the country. Mm-hmm. Like that is actually authoritarian. What's not authoritarian is trying to go through the legal means, and then once those fail, again, follow the legal constitutional means and just leave office, because that's what happened.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, hey, let's jump back in and see what Miguel comes up with. He's cooking.
Yeah. You're saying that this is fascism. Can you provide your definition of mine is nullified?
This is small scale. So I would say there's a few definitions, and I think all of them are pretty
Do you like
valid.
mine?
Can you repeat your character? Actually, I want to pause because you wanted to talk about the rise of fascism, and that's what I have the biggest problem with. Because your claim isn't that Trump is a fascist.
I cracked
Your
myself
claim is that Trump
up.
has contributed to the rise of fascism.
Yeah, that's better.
Why do all the fascist people in American politics hate Donald Trump? Why did Fuentes not vote for Donald Trump? Why did all the people who are openly claiming, Mehdi Hassan, you saw that Jubilee surrounding?
I was going to say, wait a minute.
Why do all these people who are openly admitting that they're fascist, why does not a single one of them support Donald Trump?
They are
that's obviously, where I think that Miguel, come on, I don't think that's a very convincing talking point. I didn't think he had to say that. And it's people can say a lot of things, but I don't think Nick Fuentes has ever called himself a fascist. And you also have to look at, what the critique is. So I will say, and that's why, I locked in, kept my straight face. Didn't totally agree with Miguel's point there. I thought that was not very nice, but nonetheless, we'll see how it plays out. I don't know if you want to add anything, Marty.
I mean, I'll just add real quick on. I mean, I do think that the whole discourse of calling people fascist just needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we even need to stop doing it as a response because like I said earlier, when we call people fascists, we're literally just calling people Hitler.
Yes.
So that's my only point here. It's just the whole labeling of fascist just generally needs to stop.
Yeah. Well, and that's the issue. Is it's like we said before, it plays into the left's paradigm. It's like, okay, you can score points with the left by calling Nick Fuentes a fascist. But then they're going to call you a fascist because you agree with Nick Fuentes on immigration. It's like, this gets us nowhere, and we just have to abandon the dialectic. Absolutely. That is 100%. Just the big issue here. And I'm glad we agree on this. Is this dialectic just needs to go because the right and the left are using them totally differently.
Definitely.
Openly admitting that they're fascist, and a lot of them do support Donald Trump. Number one, the people in that episode were conservatives. Number one, but number
conservative,
two,
not Republican.
I will say, they're conservatives. I was in that episode, so I'm qualified to speak on this, and that's why I'm grinning so much. Is because they're like, you saw that Mehdi? Miguel's like, you saw that Mehdi Hassan video, and I'm like, oh yeah. But that was, you can't even cast that episode to be a monolith. There was a guy there with a Viva Mexico tattoo who was a DACA kid. There was an Iranian nationalist who was in support of, or not an Iranian nationalist, but an Iranian Zionist. There was Asian Mormon with another 10. Thank you so much, man.
Oh wow.
Dude, legend. This guy, seriously.
Bankrolling the stream here.
Dude, I'm telling you. He really is. He really is. Well, he's filling up the Mockler Mog meter.
Sent $10.
I don't know if people have seen this. This is the goal we have up top. It's the Mockler Mog meter. If we fill it all the way up, it's a total and complete Mog. And if we get halfway, it's a half Mog. The episode was a little rough, but I think Marty did the complete Mog. I tried my best from the background, but this is one of those funny things where it's like, look, that episode has been cast to be a monolith. It absolutely was not. And to refute Adam Mockler, it's like, yeah, the majority of us who were in that episode, we weren't MAGA always. I think that's the way that I would characterize it. All of us, of course, want to see the president succeed, and all of us, of course, to a large degree, see that the conservative movement as it now exists couldn't exist without what he did in 2016. And really, you can't even talk about Republican politics without talking about Donald Trump, for good or for worse, or for better or for worse. But it was not a monolith, and the majority of us had our conservative critiques of it. The problem I have is that now, and this is what we see in every single Jubilee debate, no matter what it's titled, every single question is about Donald Trump. And I think the left has to start to realize, if the right begins to veer away from Trumpism or MAGA always, they're going to have a real issue of a talking point. Because their only thing right now is character assassinating Trump, and it's not addressing conservative policy or ideology. I don't think they're equipped to do that, and I think your interaction actually pointed that out.
Right, and I know people kind of have on the left a lot of discourse about how the Republican Party is going to fall apart after Trump and there's going to be no leader. I think it's actually a lot, there's a much bigger critique to be made of the Democratic Party, of where they're going to go post-Trump. Because like you just said, like pretty much their entire party right now is just hating on Trump, is saying that he is literally just Trump is bad, Trump is fascist. Like that is right now the messaging of the Democratic Party. Their messaging isn't surrounding any sort of policy or any sort of vision for America. Their vision for America is just no Trump. And then when 2028 rolls around and there's no Trump, what then? Are they going to try to paint JD or whoever our nominee is as worse than Trump? Because I don't think that's going to work. Because like I said, they've spent the better part of the last 12 years or 10 years of politics literally just bashing on one guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people are going to buy this whole, this next guy just so happens to be worse argument that they're going to try to make.
Dude, that's so flipping real. And I can't wait till we get into your part, because that's when you realize it really is just talking points and they're really just all about Trump. So let's keep
100%.
watching.
But also, what about the Politico story that released?
Okay,
Did you
now
read
we're
that?
changing the point.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
I
no.
understand. You need to change the point. That's
I'm
all
not
right.
changing the point. You
This
asked.
is.
No. You asked me, unless you want to contain it to one
Let's
Jubilee
go. Let's
episode.
go to the.
Let me finish. Unless you want to contain the people we're talking about to one Jubilee episode, young people, not only young Republicans, but young conservatives, sure, they are turning to fascism at a high rate. Do you condemn what was in that group chat?
What group chat? Oh, the YR
Politico
group
chat.
Yeah. I would personally condemn what was said in that group chat.
And what was said in that group chat?
If
Wait. Can you tell me what was said in that group chat?
Yeah, so they describe black people as watermelon people. They say they love Hitler. They said a lot of
Wait,
things.
what do they say about
Pause
Epstein?
here.
Dude,
I do need to come
mocking so hard.
Yeah. I peeked in the back. But I will come to Miguel's defense here a little bit, because we did talk after this too. And what Miguel was about to say before Adam cut him off was he was going to, and I don't necessarily even agree with this, but it's a lot better than what he said. He was going to say, while I may personally condemn them, I don't, because that's wasn't reflective of any sort of actual beliefs. Like that's what he was about to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a pretty fair criticism most people can have, is that the left has since that group chat released tried to characterize pretty much the entire youth right wing as being literal Nazis. And I like that distinction needs to be made, that these were comments made in jest. A lot of them were taken in context. Like I think the main comment that people pat on the front lines of Peter saying I love Hitler, that was taken out of context, because what Peter was really saying was someone said, oh, I'm an endorsed most far right guy, and then he made that joke. That is very clearly not Peter saying that he is a literal Nazi. That's him making a joke in a group chat. And I think that to say that like that group chat is indicative of a entire youth generation being emboldened by Donald Trump is one of the most just disingenuous thing ever. And it does go back to that conversation we were having earlier about what narrative they're trying to paint about the Republican Party. They're trying to paint the narrative that Donald Trump is a fascist like Hitler, and that he's making the youth of the party think and actually start to like Hitler. Like that is the narrative that they are trying to play into here when they do stuff like this.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's, dude, it's something that, I don't know, it bugs me so much because, and it is so true, these memes that you see where it's like the average, you know, liberal white girls friend group, and it's like all white girls, and then the average online racists friend group, and it's all like it's this beautiful rainbow of people from all over, right? Because frankly, people don't like to admit it, but Hispanics, you know, they do comprise a large majority of the white nationalist population. It's very interesting. But this is, of course, a little bit in jest. I don't believe that any of the people there in that chat were white nationalists. And again, yes, jokes, but also, you know, oh, they were saying that they were going to send the other person in the chat to the gas chamber. Okay, they said this to the other person in the chat. Like, you're going to tell your boy that you're like, oh, I'm going to touch you or whatever. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of these different weird examples I can bring up.
It's so clearly a joke.
Yeah.
Like when you tell someone, like, I'm going to touch you, are you joking about rape? Like obviously not. Like, that's obviously not what the, what the proper extension of that is. And it just, it's such ideological hoops that they have to jump through to take this group chat and then make this broad characterization of the entire youth wing of the Republican Party being radicalized.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's truly frustrating because you see the way that they actually engage socially, and it is very destructive. It's like the left will cut off family members. The left, and this is like proven. There are studies. Michael Knowles on one of his bar fight episodes, he talks about this with I forget the name of the guy. He was on another Jubilee episode, but it's like liberals are far more likely to cut off members of their family over political disagreements. Right-wing people, we have this implicit sense that, you know, despite political disagreement, we get along. And for what it's worth, Adam Mockler represents a better part of the left wing in the sense that he is not one of these people who's going to, you know, refuse to shake our hands. Like Dean and Parker refusing to shake my hands, Soy Pill having his like baby rage like fit. He threw this huge fit when I went to the UNF America thing. I went up, he was like leaning on the bar. I go, hey, Soy Pill, nice to meet you. What happened? I was excited to debate you. He goes, oh yeah, well, I was really upset that, you know, that like my money was going to like fund this organization platforming you, because I don't think you should be platformed at all. Dude, you debated me, and also my audience is bigger than yours, and we were the ones that are going to be debating. Like, what are you talking about? And he refuses to shake my hand.
Soy Pill.
Yeah, Soy Pill. You know that guy?
Okay. I think Miguel did a debate against him on Venezuela.
In Venezuela? That's so keck.
Yeah.
That's so based. I want to do a debate in Spanish. That's my goal for the new year.
Oh, you don't
want to be
Spanish?
able. Yeah, dude, I served a mission in Argentina for 2 years.
Oh, right. That's right.
Dude, that's why this Venezuela thing is like, you know, it's really got me hyped. Because maybe I go down there and I do some journalism. But hey, anyway, it's, that is just one of those things that really frustrates me, is that you look at the demeanor of people, you look at how people actually are. I don't care what they're saying in a group chat. They're going to treat you with dignity and with humanity, and they see you as a real person. I know it sounds maybe a little bit like juvenile to obsess about handshaking, but the reason why I talk about it a lot is because it's representative of how you're perceived. A handshake is just the simple like mutual agreement, and it's a sign of respect that costs so little that when it itself is refused, it shows that you are not even, you know, seen as a human being. You are not seen as a person by the people who you're talking to. And there is nothing more promoting of violence against others than their own dehumanization. And that, by the way, you want to talk about like, you know, fascism or whatever, the dehumanization of opponents, that is a real thing. And the left does that routinely. So,
yeah, refusing to shake someone's hand and like you said, the whole "I'm not even going to platform you," that is far more dehumanizing than Trump calling you a nickname.
Yeah,
like the two aren't even on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, let's jump back into the rest of this debate and see how Miguel cooks.
They said if you don't vote for me, you're getting sent to the gas.
Okay, wait a minute. And these weren't just young Republicans. These were like 20, 30, 40-year-olds,
okay, can
correct?
I respond?
Were there any 40-year-olds in that chat?
No, I mean, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the oldest person is 34.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, because the cutoff for YRs, I think, is 40 years old.
Yeah, like I don't know. He just kind of said that, and I'm like imagining like these actual like straight up like adults and whatnot. It's like, no, most of them were like, you know, kind of in graduate studies, I think, or
most of them were in their 20s.
Anyway, we'll keep going.
No, these were 20, 30, 40-year-olds, and some of them were state senators.
Yeah.
So younger people seem to be inclined towards fascism. You can respond now. Sorry.
Okay, younger people seem to be inclined toward fascism. Yes, and all these people don't like Donald Trump.
Those were young Republicans,
Let me
dude.
finish speaking, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a reaction.
You've been eliminated by the
All right, thank you.
That was good.
dude, I feel bad. I had to vote you out, dude. You threw the Mehdi Hassan debaters under the bus. Sorry. No. Well, let's. Oh, there I am. Hey, look at that.
Right, thank
beautiful
you.
shirt, by the way.
High spotting.
Yeah, look at me. Boom. Beautiful shirt. Thrifted.
Yes.
And there's Sarah.
Ooh.
And then I almost topple this guy. I almost like totally body check him across the room. Watch this slow mo. Whoa, watch out. Sorry about that.
Another Berkeley guy, by the way. There were 4 Berkeley people in this episode.
No way. Dude, I had no idea.
Yes.
All right, well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying this is like a little Berkeley takeover.
Dude, literally. Total control. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Berkeley occupied government bog. Real? All right. let's see what Sarah's cooking up.
I'm Sarah.
This was the funniest one in my opinion. This was hilarious.
Yeah, this one was really funny.
And she's the only one who could have done it because she's a girl.
I'm a lot more concerned about the rise of violent left-wing rhetoric among Gen Z than so-called fascism, because I'm sorry, if you think like that chat was any sort, like that meant that fascism is on the rise, it's like you've never been at Call of Duty lobby. Like it's called making edgy jokes. Okay?
Wait a minute, you make those types of jokes?
I don't personally, but like that's like every young man ever.
Yeah, and then this is where Rose Hart's just fed post baiting.
Dude,
like,
literally.
Who here has said the N-word? What?
Yeah. By raise of hand, who here has said go to the gas chamber? It's like so goofy, bro. But what I wish Sarah would have said, she should have said, I don't, I'm a girl. Which would have been the best defense. But let's see.
Raise your hand if you make those types of jokes.
For real. Like,
okay, so no one will actually admit it because it's kind of weird to make those types of jokes.
Everyone makes those.
I think the Hispanic guy raised his hand. That's based.
If you've like never been.
Does he actually? That's
my male friends.
Yeah, let's see.
And that means you have like.
Okay, so no one will actually admit it because it's kind of weird to make.
I don't know what he said. He was like,
those types.
I think he said, "Who's gonna admit to that?" or something like that.
Everyone makes those types, and that means you have like no male friends if you've like never been in a room where people
my male friends
say the N-word as a joke. Like it's like
my male friends.
Everyone does that, and you know it's true. And it's like if not, you're probably surrounded by like homosexuals.
Okay, my male friends and I tell each other to like kill themselves. We do funny stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's so shocking. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Pause there. Like
Like
even amongst their like whole like ideologically pure lines of humor. So you think that suicide is funny, but saying a word isn't? Like like that. Still there's that still double standard of like this whole speech police thing, and it is indicative of their broader ideology that just because you like one says a word or says a joke that is actually indicative of your of what you believe, but that only applies to the right. That doesn't actually apply to them. It only applies to us because they try to use that, and like you said earlier, as a means to try to dehumanize us, as a means to try to say that that when we're in power, that their lives are literally in danger, and even that goes back to what you were saying earlier too about family members cutting one another off.
Big time
is the reason that they stopped talking to us is because the leftist view, the average leftist, or a lot of leftist view of the right is that our worldview fundamentally threatens theirs. But our worldview of the left is just that it's pretty much dumb. Like we think that they're just generally not smart, and they think that we are literally evil.
Yeah,
like I think that's pretty much what this can be summed up to.
100%.
And when you think that the other side is dumb, you don't vote them in. When you think that the other side is evil, you try to take them out.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is funny is it's also like a projection of the studies regarding left wing, especially white liberal in-group versus out-group preference. It's far more reasonable to make a joke about killing yourself, but you start joking about being mean to other people because of like some characteristic that's immutable, then it becomes a problem. It is truly the manifestation of left-wing people having an out-group preference over an in-group preference. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Don't say
and the difference
off to the gas chamber.
The difference is that young leftists genuinely worshipped the murder of Charlie Kirk and Luigi Mangione, who are people committing.
I'll be fair. I don't know if they worship the murderer of Charlie Kirk once they found out what he looked like. You know, there is maybe an aesthetic element here to their morality. You know, if the guy's not attractive. You know, Clavicular, vindicated a little bit. Charlie Kirk's murderer is not getting any simp edits the way that Luigi Mangione did. So anyway, we'll dive back in. Just an aside.
Genuine acts of violence, and they genuinely condone that. So that's the big difference, because I mean, I saw literally graffiti on college campuses saying "kill all Charlie Kirks." They are inciting violence, and that is a totally like normalized thing to say to like celebrate the fact. And that's serious. And the political group chat was a joke, and you know that.
Okay, so your concession is that, you know, people talk like fascists in private sometimes, but you're worried that leftists are using increasingly violent rhetoric, like the people that you were talking about.
Because
Luigi
one thing
Mangione
is serious and one thing is a joke.
Okay, I want to ask you one thing. Did one Democratic politician support what Luigi did? Can you name any actual Democratic politician?
No,
Dude,
but it does.
Pausing that. This is something you're going to hear so many times in this debate, and it's such an arbitrary standard. And this is what I brought up to Hunter Kozak too. It's like we were talking about the violence, and I'm like, look, you know, there's like an increasing amount of violent rhetoric and violent or normalization or tolerance of violence on the left. And he's like, well, name me one Democrat who has gone out and supported that. Dude, it doesn't matter. It's like, this is happening anyway. It's like, are you going to tell me that this thing that is occurring in your side of the politics is just not real because what? Joe Biden didn't say anything? And even still, you have people like, what was the name of the AG? I forget this guy's name. The one that talked about, what's up?
The AG under Biden, Merrick Garland.
No, not Merrick Garland. The one that just won in I forget where, that was talking about.
Oh, Jay Jones.
Yeah, Jay Jones.
Virginia.
You have Jay Jones, who literally is, you know, talking like this. But even still, this is just like something that to me is such a ridiculous standard. Because again, what Trump called Hillary Clinton a fascist. Did anybody go and try and kill Hillary Clinton because Trump told them she was a fascist? No, right-wing people interpret that word totally differently again. Left-wing people are going to use it as like an excuse for violence. And even if it's not coming from politicians, the base of the left wing, especially among young people, is becoming much more tolerant of it. But I would say it's less so about the specific words, and it's more so about ideology. Why do you think the Black Lives Matter riots occurred? It's because people were being told constantly that there is a systemically racist system in the United States, or rather that the United States is systemically racist, not to be redundant. And that this is something that, you know, needs to be destroyed and dismantled at all costs. You shouldn't be surprised when $2 billion worth of damages are caused around the country because people feel that there's no other way of you know, figuring out this huge injustice. That kind of rhetoric genuinely has led to violence and destruction, and we saw that all throughout 2020-21.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like when he, you know, goes this line of, oh, have you seen a Democrat politician supporting it? Actually, yes. When you have, you know, on the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk, the message catch this fascist wrote, and it being pretty widely known that Charlie Kirk was killed because they thought he was a fascist, that people shot at Trump because they thought he was a fascist, that when you continue to call us fascists, yeah, you actually are condoning it without saying. Like, you can play this whole this whole virtue signaling game of, no, I condemn political violence, but when you go out and do the exact thing that caused it, like, no, like the fact that you condemn it actually doesn't matter. Like you were saying with BLM, when you say, oh, I don't like rioting, but then you go out and say that this system needs to be dismantled, I don't think it takes a genius to put two and two together on what that actually means.
Yeah, real. And then I'll be honest, it's like one of these things where, you know, you have this positive feedback cycle within the left of the viral creators publicly and just on the face condemning violence, but all the meanwhile, the violence is increasing. There is more disruption. There is less cohesion. There's much less trust between the groups. And there is more dehumanization of their opponents. And there's just this positive feedback loop where the violence increases, and yet they are able to absolve themselves of the guilt because a bunch of the talking heads said, oh, but that's bad. And then they turn around and say, but you guys do it more, which is even more reason to commit violence against right-wingers. So I think that's 100%. A super naive perspective.
doesn't
Okay,
matter
so
because
on the other side-
you're talking about the rise in the generation. You're not talking about politicians in their speech.
And I'm so glad Sarah pointed that out. That made me so happy. It's like, yeah, dude, we're not talking about the rise of fascism in the politicians. We're talking about a rise of fascism in the generation. And if you're just looking at that, dude, come on. It's like, look at the radicalization.
I am talking about politicians as well.
100%.
So on the other side,
now you're
no. Let me clarify.
What about young leftists?
Let me
what about the violence that young?
She gets really Canadian when she says about. What about?
Leftists
Let me clarify very, very quickly.
That's
So you're
way
trying to
more
point to
widespread,
young
you know it.
leftists on the left, but on the right, there are politicians in power. People like Stephen Miller, who says the Democratic Party is a domestic extremist organization. Caroline Levitt just
Holy eye roll,
Stephen
bro.
Miller, who says the Democratic Party
Well,
is a domestic extremist.
to his, on what he's saying there. I mean, they kind of are, right?
Yeah.
Like when you have an entire organization whose, like we said earlier, the entire message is can be summed up by Trump is fascist and his regime is fascist. Actually, yeah, like that party is kind of an extremist organization, and when you can amplify that by looking at how their base reacts to to events like the murder of Charlie Kirk, then yeah, you actually do know that the base needs to be de-radicalized. Like I think that you can generally tell a lot about an organization or a person or a movement as a whole by what their supporters are. So if you want to look at what the Democratic Party represents, look at what their supporters believe. What their supporters believe is that people like me, people like you, people like Trump, Charlie Kirk need to be killed. Like that is what their support. That's what their base believes, or at the very least, for the people who don't think we need to be killed, that we need to be silenced. Like that is what the Democratic Party believes, and the reason why is because that's the implicit message that is pushed from the top, from the leaders of the party.
Yep, 100%.
Organization. Caroline Levitt just the other day, as I said that the entire base is Hamas terrorists and criminals. So when you have people in power on the right,
I would be interested.
They're using this.
I'd be interested to know the context of that quote. Do you want to live search that?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Here, I'm gonna see too. Hold on. We're gonna live search this, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna see if this is real. Caroline Levitt. What was the quote?
Hamas terrorist quote.
Yeah. Dude, her name is spelled so weird.
Yeah. That is one of, I will say, my best qualities, to be able to spell people's names.
Real, dude. All right, let's see
here. Well, all of the initial searches are just bringing up the quote here.
All right, here. I think I've got a video here.
That the Democrat Party's
Okay.
main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is
It's super
standing up
quiet.
for law-abiding Americans.
Well, yeah,
not
I
just
can
the
generally hear
Democrat
it.
Yeah. It's but yeah, she's saying that they're catering to those groups.
Exactly, because those are
True.
the people who are in the party.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if
Literally.
yeah, people in your party, you kind of have to cater to them.
Yeah. Dude, no, that, by the way, so what's the way that he framed it? Let's read
Rhetoric,
it or hear this
criminals.
again.
So just the other day, as I said that the entire base is Hamas terrorists and criminals.
That's
Yeah.
literally not what she said.
Yeah.
She said their main constituency, and then she said they cater to Hamas terrorists, violent extremists, and something else. And
Violent criminals, I think.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's. Oh crap. All right. Where was the? Dude, Stephen Miller check. Okay, here it is again.
That the Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is.
Yeah. So there's the key verbiage difference.
Yeah.
She said the entire base, where Caroline Levitt says the main constituency. And what she's saying there is that the people who they cater to the most, because that at the end of the day, that's your main constituency. Your main constituency is who you're spending most of your time on.
Yeah.
Like those are the people who you represent. They're representing Hamas terrorists, and whatever these other groups are, in which, those kind of are the people who the Democratic Party is catering to.
True. You want to which party do you think has advocated for reducing the restrictions on felons to vote or to seek employment? Which party is more in favor, of the actions of Hamas? Which party, genuinely is catering more to those groups? It is the Democrats.
Yeah, Or even better yet, which party had their last candidate in the last election, actually post stuff and tell people to go bail out BLM rioters? Like, that wasn't us.
Yeah, literally, dude. No, that's so real. So hey, very interesting editorializing there, Adam Mockler. That's a little dishonest. Yeah. Live fact check brought to you by Marty and Kai, by the College Republicans. Yes. Live fact check.
So notice no essay in there.
Yep. No essay.
On the right. Wait. They're using this rhetoric and normalizing it that goes downstream.
Yeah, so and you have left-wing media like MSNBC cheering backstage when Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Wait, you think people are being murdered because of MSNBC? You think MSNBC is radical?
Yes.
By the way, that's not what she said. She said that MSNBC was cheering when he died. Not that,
but regardless, yes.
Yeah, but regardless, yes.
You think MSNBC is radical?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Marty check?
Yep. MSNBC is radical.
Yeah. Yes.
Agreed.
MSNBC is radical.
Oh, absolutely.
Fact check true.
What do you think is radicalizing more people, Nick Fuentes or MSNBC?
Probably MSNBC.
Really? Yeah. More so than Nick Fuentes. I hear someone laughing behind me, and that's kind of, But also, there is a fundamental difference between people in power using rhetoric.
Dude, I love that clip. Listen. I love that clip so much. That's got like almost 500,000 views on Twitter now. It was just such an aura loss, like the thumb, like pointing behind.
Really? More so than Nick Fuentes. I hear someone laughing.
It's like literally to me. Oh, I didn't say a word.
Just straight faced, yeah.
Yeah.
Behind me, that's kind of, But also, there is a fundamental difference between people in power using rhetoric and random leftists. Listen, I'm a young liberal.
Don Lemon just told people.
This, by the way, I hate this argument. Like, there is a big difference between people in power using rhetoric and just the average leftist. Yeah, the difference is who is killing people. Which right-wing politician has murdered somebody? Which left-wing politician has murdered somebody? Neither. What we're talking about are the people who murdered people, which are, yes, the average leftist, not the average leftist, but it is the base. Like, there are leftists who kill people. The same way that, yes, right, there are right-wing people who kill people. But that's what we're talking about. And so every single time that he in this debate or anybody else in these kinds of debates tries to change the framing to what politicians are saying, they refute their own point. Because it's not about the rhetoric. It is about who's actually committing the violence. And in neither case, it's the politicians.
Exactly. If you want to see where the problem is, look at who's actually getting targeted. I said this in my last part where I bring up the claim. But when was the last time you heard about an assassination attempt on Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton? And the biggest part there was like on Barack Obama, arguably a more divisive and more influential figure than Donald Trump. There was no assassination attempts on Obama that were prominent at all. Like that right there just goes to show you the difference of violence toleration amongst the rights and left. Mm-hmm. And the core of that is that we on the right, we view our leftist companions generally as people who are just, misguided on how to, make our country great. But people on the left genuinely view us as evil, racist Nazis who want to kill them all. Like that is the actual difference here.
Real.
100%. And the reason for that difference is the Democratic Party, is Chuck Schumer, is Hakeem Jeffries, is Kamala Harris.
So real. Hey, thank you so much, Kreblub, for the 10. Appreciate you. Dude.
I thought we were about to get another Asian Mormon call out.
No, Asian Mormon is he may have turned in for the night. No, but that okay. The super chat, it was actually really funny. I got to read this off to you. This is hilarious. The super chat says Marty Supreme and Cobra Kai Mog.
Yes,
you're Marty Supreme. I'm Cobra Kai. That's so real, dude.
What a good movie, by the way. I mean, just I think that dropped did that drop this year or did that drop last year? I think it was
Cobra
this year,
Kai?
Right? No, Marty Supreme.
Oh, that just dropped like a week ago.
Yeah. Easily, first movie 2026, easily the best movie 2026. Dude, I don't think anything could top it.
It's so good. The story of a young, tenacious Jewish kid beating an evil capitalist billionaire. No, that's a little a little editorial. Writes all of these characters who are a-holes but who you really root for, and it's this tenacity. Right. It is this, like the clip from the trailer, it's like, what are you gonna do if this like dream of yours doesn't work out? That doesn't even enter my conscience. It's so real.
What
that
is
men.
What a bar.
It's such a bar, dude. This is how men are, and that's why men love these movies. And it is a pro-life movie, just saying. Anyway, we'll jump back into the video, but had to be said. I'm glad you agree with me.
100%.
to shoot ICE agents. They told Don Lemon just told illegal brown people to grab guns so they can shoot ICE agents when they show up at their door. Is Don Lemon not someone in a position of power?
As a young liberal.
And so here's the fact check. We'll be fair about this. It says on the Left Hook podcast with Wajid Ali, Don Lemon referred to citizens, saying, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in the Second Amendment, black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're Indian American or Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally.
Do you condone that?
But pause there. That's literally pretty much that's a logical extension of what Sarah said.
Yeah.
Of what Sarah said. If you're telling people to, in the context of talking about ICE raids, to go get guns, I wonder why we're doing that. I wonder what the what the reasoning is there, especially in the aftermath of an attempted shooting on a nice detention center.
Literally. And there have been multiple. Shootings, and it's like, dude, maybe it doesn't even count as left-wing violence because they killed the immigrants themselves and not
exactly. That's actually right-wing violence, yeah.
So it's a right-wing violence. But this was just totally insane. There've been a couple cases like that too.
Do you condone that?
No, you should not shoot ICE agents. He said that you should have a weapon in your house. Don't you support the Second Amendment?
Not for illegal immigrants, because they're not allowed to legally own firearms.
That was based. The way she said that was so good.
100%.
Can I clarify? He was talking about citizens because he said they're arresting and detaining citizens. So if you watch watch that clip, he was saying citizens. I hope there's one of those fact checks on screen because he was saying they're detaining citizens.
Pause right there. What the quote was?
Yeah, it says
because when you have people knocking on your door and taking away your due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? So the extension there. So he thinks that ICE is taking away your due process and knocking on your door, and then he says that that's what the Second Amendment is for. That's literally just a straight jump of you go out and shoot ICE officers. Like that actually doesn't take much editorializing to get there. That's literally just what the guy is saying.
Dude, literally so real. But no. But it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah,
and this,
exactly.
And this definitely does not increase the amount of violence that we have in our politics. Is saying that you should prepare, get a weapon now, prepare for when the ICE agents show up. Yo, Brenosh, thank you for the 5. Love this guy. Dude, I think this was from before when he did the I just heard some laughing behind me.
Sent $5.
He says, He says Adam Mockler confirmed schizophrenic. Could be. You never know.
If you watch that clip, he was saying citizens. I hope there's one of those fact checks on screen because he was saying they're detaining citizens. So really quickly,
citizens wouldn't need to be shooting ICE agents either,
I don't think anyone should shoot ICE agents, but he was number one. I'm not Don Lemon. I'm not Don Lemon.
That's a ton. No, we're seeing left-wing people openly inside.
Such a ridiculous cop-out.
I'm a young liberal.
Yeah, not to keep stopping, but such a ridiculous cop-out there of the whole. Like, oh well, I condemn it, so I absolve my entire side of any sort of responsibility here. Like, actually, no. I actually really don't care what you personally think. I'm here to debate, what the reality of the situation is. So you can't just come up here and say, oh, I don't like it too, and then we just don't get to talk about the impact of it.
Well, yeah, and this is we'll jump ahead a little bit because we're going pretty late already, and we got to get to the debates that you and I had. But I want to jump based off of that to the debate that I had where I kind of mentioned this point. We'll skip maybe to that point.
Epstein. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump held private parties in the 90s.
We'll skip forward a little bit.
I wouldn't take out a position.
Joseph
there it is.
They wouldn't let their daughter around Trump. 3 people say they wouldn't let their daughter around Trump.
I wouldn't let my daughter around Joseph Biden. It's
fine.
This
I'm
framing.
not defending Biden. I don't care.
You don't have to defend a thing. You haven't staked out a position.
Biden has committed less.
You've easily admitted that once we change the framing to talk, for example, about things that are more relevant to the average American. For instance, the average person who's
I didn't realize
Texas,
I wasn't even showing the screen. We'll skip back.
You don't have to defend a thing. You haven't staked out a position.
Biden has committed less.
You've easily admitted that once we change the framing to talk, for example, about things that are more relevant to the average American. For instance, the average person who is living in Texas, right? The way that these people are going to feel the effects of migration are not as an average. There is no cookie cutter average American.
The study was done in Texas.
Hold on. I understand that. That's why.
I love it. The study was done in Texas. Yeah, that's why I said Texas. But anyway, the point that I want to make there is yes, and this happened with Mehdi Hassan too. This is what happens every single time. When you get into a debate with right-wingers versus left-wingers, or left-wingers versus right-wingers, to frame it the right way, like on these Jubilee things, it's always a referendum on anything Trump has ever said or done. And they don't even allow rhetorical room for being against it because, like here, at least with Mehdi Hassan, one of the prompts was about just an idea generally. And again, this goes to the point that the left doesn't know how to talk about ideas anymore. They just know how to talk about Trump. They know how to talk about the 24-hour news cycle, and that's it. And this, by the way, is not to run too much defense for the right, because I think we've gotten pretty anti-intellectual. I think we don't know actually how to talk about policy. I think that's our biggest problem, is we're too 100%. Reactionary. But what I will say is, it's like, dude, 3 of the 4 prompts Mehdi Hasan had were about Trump. We were far-right Republicans, but it was just about Trump. Next, and by the way, what's the tangible difference then? If the difference is not that the far-right is probably harsher on Trump, then what is the tangible difference between the average Republican, who is actually, yes, a Trump supporter, despite what many believe, and a far-right Republican? Like, what's the tangible difference? Like, what are we even debating if all of the prompts are going to be about basic talking points? With Adam Mockler, were any of his prompts not about Trump? I think all of them were about Trump, weren't they?
Yeah, because one was Trump. It wasn't even just economy. It was the Trump economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the Trump economy. Yeah, Trump causing a rise of fascism. Children are more safe with Trump than illegals.
Or with illegals than Trump,
yeah. And then what was the last one? It was
dude, I don't even remember. Hold on, it should say Trump is the most corrupt president.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, it's like are we serious right now? Like they have no other argument. But then the moment you say, okay, well, you wouldn't want your kid to be around Joe Biden, so isn't it kind of a mutt point?
Yeah.
No, whatever. He literally is so flippant about it. He's like, I'm not supporting Joe Biden. I don't care. It's like, then why do I have to care about Trump? Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, look at this.
You've easily admitted that once we change it,
I don't care. You don't say they wouldn't let their daughter around Trump.
I wouldn't let my daughter around Joseph Biden.
That's
it's again
fine.
this
I'm
framing.
not defending Biden. I don't care.
You don't have to.
It's like a kid. I'm not gonna lie. It's like a kid. Like, that's fine. I'm not gonna defend Biden. I don't care. It's like, bro, what? You're asking me to defend the Republican president, and the moment I say, okay, well, what about the Democratic president? You're like, well, I don't have to defend that guy. It's like, yeah, you do. If that's the framing, yes, you do. So
no, exactly. I mean, yeah, because I mean, even more than that, like, what is the actual substance that he's trying to debate there? Like, is he trying to have like a Trump is a pedophile debate, or is he trying to have a illegal immigrations or illegal immigrants don't commit crime debate? It's like it. And I think Adams was generally one of the more good faith left wing actors, but even that, it's just like such a bad faith framing of like what are we even going to debate here? Which to go back to your point earlier, like what is the left actually going to do post Trump? Like what ideas are they going to debate? Are they going to go to are they going to pivot to now JD's a pedophile? Like what's going to be the pivot?
Dude, literally so real. They need like this super villain, or they're not going to be able to function. But hey, let's jump to the beginning of my debate so you guys get some of the full context of that. And then I'll kind of expand on the point that I unfortunately was not able to make, and I'll expand it a little bit.
What's up?
Good to meet you, man.
Great to meet you as well.
I'm Kai. Adam, I think I like what you're doing rhetorically. It's a very interesting strategy.
Where do you disagree?
Well, I disagree in large degree with the frame.
Yo, Blake B. Thank you for the super chat, big guy. Oh, man. What a kind guy. That's the Blake from the video. I think. That's Blake. That's Blake Bordeaux from the video. The GOAT?
GOAT.
Sent $5
He says, W stream, 2 chats. Dude, okay. I'm gonna cut from this. We'll get our timestamp. We're at 55 minutes. I just want to show, because there are some other moggers in this episode that few people recognize, but real ones know. Honestly, this Asian guy kind of moggs. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, Loki. That jawline is kind of crazy,
dude. It is kind of nuts. He's kind of like the Aryan of the East. But you'll see in just a second here. I think
is doing. So
there he is. Look at that chin. Look at that jawline over here. This guy, Blake, total Chad. When did he come up and talk?
Yep.
Was that at the very beginning?
I don't remember. I think he might have been more towards the middle.
Yeah, I don't remember this either, dude. It's like I've had my memory wiped. There's your part that we're gonna watch.
Who's that Chad?
Who's that Chad there looming? Or what was it? Was it like right after me, or there he is.
Oh yeah,
there he is, dude. Hey, another super chat. Let's flip and go. Oslin Mormon. Dude, the Mormon Mafia is coming out strong today.
I know.
The Mormon Mafia.
Asian
Thank
Mormon
you.
sent $5.
Oh, no, that was Asian Mormon. I read it wrong.
Asian Mormon again.
Asian Mormon, the GOAT. He's not asleep. He's not asleep.
Last claim is Donald Trump is the most corrupt.
Here, let's
president
just
in
see
American
let's just see
history.
our boy Mog real quick. There he is. Effortlessly gets to the chair.
Nice to meet
Yes.
you.
He's
This is a great
tall.
conversation.
He
I think
doesn't even
Donald
fit in the
Trump
frame.
Maybe is one of the least corrupt presidents in
How so?
American history. I think that Donald Trump came out of a very corrupt system, not himself, but the America that elected Trump saw what happened after years of Democrat control, after years of Clintons
love his
and
cadence.
Obamas and all the same.
Yeah,
And
100%.
Trump
It's like a
came
true
along, he said-
politician.
Dude, and his accent, dude, the southern accent,
Yep.
based. That's the
Yeah,
go
but
right
not, but not southern enough to where you can't understand it.
there. Dude, literally. It's like it's a high class. It's a high caste
Yep.
southern. You know, this is the successor to some great southern statesman. This is Huey Long's successor. This is the real kingfish. But here, let's get back to this debate here with this handsome gentleman, the other handsome
Kai.
gentleman here.
Yes.
Where do you disagree?
Safer off with the average illegal immigrant than with Joseph Biden. I think that's what a Republican would claim.
All right, hold on.
Well, I disagree in large degree with the framing. Would you agree with the framing that a child is probably safer off with the average illegal immigrant than with Joseph Biden? I think that's what a Republican.
Perfect. Like, that should have been the debate.
Debate over. Yeah.
Literally, that's it. Awesome. Your rhetorical framing just kind of sucks, and bye. But no,
Yeah,
we
like,
can
yeah,
do it.
cue the
Now that we've
credits, yeah.
agreed kind of that the framing is
Well,
not
maybe
more
not
so.
safer. Can you point to Joe Biden being friends with prolific sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein?
And this is where you get to the part where it's like, this is where now he shows what the question was really all about. What this is a referendum about, you know, Trump's convictions civilly of sexual assault. That's what it's about, or sexual abuse. And a civil conviction is not a criminal conviction. It's a different thing. But anyway, and also this idea that, you know, Joe Biden is so far removed from Jeffrey Epstein. It's like, dude, you familiar with what Hunter Biden did? Yeah, like I mean, maybe they ran in different circles, but Joe Biden is genetically related to a guy who spent the last 20 years having very promiscuous sexual relationships, doing copious amounts of drugs, laundering money through his art being sold. I mean, come on, like, are we serious?
Yep.
So anyway, and that's genetically linked.
Absolutely.
Wait,
I mean, there's a web of connections.
Wait. Did Joe Biden have girls groomed out of his Mar-a-Lago spa? Did Joe Biden have 26 different credible sexual assault allegations? Or did Joe Biden say that he grabs women because they let him do it? Any of those things.
Well, it's interesting because
I'm not
the
even
lens.
here to say that Joe Biden's perfect, but I just think
That was a crazy interruption. And then he's like, I'm not here to say Joe Biden's perfect. Yeah, none of us are here to say Trump's perfect either, dude. Like, spoiler
equivalency
alert.
is crazy. I wouldn't want my daughter around
I agree. I think the equivalency of the average illegal immigrant and Donald Trump is crazy. The way that we assemble those statistics is absolutely ridiculous. And
Also-
if you were to take a, let's say, what's the sample size in your study? How many illegal immigrants were included as a part of the study?
It was in Texas from 2012 to 2019. I don't know the exact sample
Let's
size. I'm sorry.
assume it's over 1,000. It's statistically significant. There is a power there in the value that the study has concluded with. If we have 1,000 Donald Trumps, which of the two will have been more guilty of violent crimes?
Wait a minute. You want to do this? If you have 1,000 Donald Trumps versus 1,000 undocumented immigrants,
One group will have committed violent crimes, and the other will not have.
The statistics show.
That's true.
No, that isn't.
That is true.
He's like, that's not true. Donald Trump has never been convicted of violent crimes ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and there's like this subtle pivot that they always do, and Adam even did this in his framing of the whole Trump Epstein thing. That like they always do this little subtle framing with their wording. Is he'll pivot after that on the violent crime thing. I think he did to saying, well, Trump was held civilly liable of sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a conviction, especially when you actually look into the context of the case. And I did this a little bit in my back and forth with them. But the context of the case in which they had, I think for the sexual assault, civilly liable, that extend the statute of limitations, try it in a different area, I think, from where they originally were going to try it in, just so they can get a favorable jury pool. Like, and again, it wasn't even a criminal conviction, which there is no statute of limitations on, I don't think, for rape.
Yeah.
So, it's just such a false equivalence that they always do, and there's these little wording tricks that they do to kind of really like shape the narrative.
Well, it's the perfect example, right? Is what he did with the Carolyn Levitt quote. That the entire base, the whole base of the Democratic Party, that's not what she said. She said that is their constituency and they cater towards them. Yep. Okay, that's true. Big whoop. Anyway, that this part is just really frustrating because it's like, dude, if we're comparing, if there's 1,000 Donald Trumps and there's 1,000 illegal immigrants, only one of these groups will have sex trafficked children. It's like, literally, you're saying that you would be safer with somebody who has a chance of being a sex trafficker and somebody who is maybe a creepy billionaire. And no matter what you say, it's like, and I've said this before, again, I am not this like MAGA always, like I'm Trump's white knight. That's not what I do politically. I want America to succeed. I want the president to succeed. But I also just like kind of intuitively, he's not a pedophile. Donald Trump, sure, is his connection with Epstein fishy? Yes. I think billionaires probably hang around other billionaires. And I think there's a ton of people you could connect by virtue of them working kind of in the same circles. I don't think his sexual proclivities are at all similar. And frankly, for somebody now with Donald Trump's reputation, with the amount of eyes on him that there are, I think it would be far easier to convict him very like obviously of being a pedophile if that truly were the case. Again, I'm not disputing the fact that he's creepy. I think Joe Biden's creepy. I think Trump is creepy. I think Trump has made comments that he shouldn't have made. And I think every single, and I said this at the end, every single politician, maybe minus 10 members of the Senate and maybe 30 from the House, probably are engaged in some really weird sex stuff. I don't think that's something that is a partisan issue. And that was kind of what I came at it from. But unfortunately, Adam just cannot even talk about this issue without framing it entirely around Trump.
Which violent crime has he actually been convicted of?
He was held civilly liable of sexual abuse, sexual assault, number one. But number two, what if you take
doesn't answer the question?
You take 1,000 undocumented
and misconstrued
1,000 Donald Trumps. The statistics show that those 1,000 Donald Trumps will abuse way more women. 26 versus the average undocumented immigrant commits violent crimes at a 2 times lower rate than the native-born citizen.
That's
Donald
interesting.
Trump commits crimes at a higher rate than the native-born
That's
citizen.
interesting.
Now you see what I'm doing rhetorically?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do see what you're doing, and what you're doing is trying to remove
poke a hole in it.
What you're doing is trying to remove the effect of the crime from the actual people who are affected by it, which is why you're saying, well, if Donald Trump was in a room with you, the issue is when you analyze the difficult, or rather the amount of crime that these illegal immigrants are actually perpetrating, and when you compare it and say that blanket statement, right, that they are less violent than the average native-born American, you're not comparing it individually to each group.
Would you let
the
someone...
levels of crime, the rates of crime among groups in this country differ significantly.
The issue here is that I go very long-winded, but you genuinely just have to walk people through this idea, because what we're talking about is statistics and rhetorical framing. And I'll lay out in just a second. I'll let myself here in the video lay it out, and then I'll lay it out kind of the way that
people are probably side majors.
Yeah, real.
Based on where you are and based on what the group is. Would you say?
That's why I said average.
And this is, I love, honestly, epic clip. This is an epic clip.
That's why I said average.
Well,
I mean, you can point to a specific area, but that's why it's average.
You understand that not...
Would you let someone who was held civilly liable of sexual abuse immigrate into the country legally?
You understand?
No.
Well, no, I don't think so. No.
But you let them be the president.
You're not engaging with the statistic that you brought up at the beginning.
Okay.
And again, the framing that
you're saying
the framing that you are providing, if we were to be statistically consistent, would say that with the average illegal immigrant, you are safer than with the average Black American. Would you agree with that framing?
With the average illegal immigrant, you're safer with the average Black American. Yeah, because Black Americans commit crimes
at a disproportionate
rate. That is a good clip.
Like that's such a good clip. He just straight up admits, oh yeah, Black people are way more violent than illegal immigrants. It's like, dude, I can't, bro. That moment, and I was honestly, frankly, that was the best thing he could have done, because had he fought me on it, I would have gone harder. But he just straight up admitted it, and I was like, oh, okay, sweet. I mean, hey, points to Adam Mockler for being ideologically consistent. Like, I got to give the guy credit. He sees the stats. He sees the data. So we looked at the data. He looked at the data, and he's not disputing it. That was really funny.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so you understand how framing can significantly shape the way that we engage in these conversations. I don't think every Black person is going to kill me, but there is a disproportionality around it.
But the thing is, not every immigrant's going to abuse you.
I 100% agree.
Every one of those 1,000 Donald Trumps will abuse their power dynamics. Absolutely. Donald Trump.
And this, admittedly, this is where I was really losing out, because he is true. It's like, if you have somebody who, yes, has been held civilly liable for sexual abuse, or for, what was the thing that they tried to get him on? Like, if he has a criminal record because they made up, bogus charge about, falsifying business records, like, that's just true. I'm not going to be able to deny that, yes, like, he does have that record. So here it gets difficult. But if we want to talk about what's maybe more important, which is actually like whether or not the average illegal immigrant ought to be in this country or is going to be safe in this country, because this is really the root of the question that he's posing, you have to analyze it the way that I'm analyzing it. And comparing them to Trump is not going to be a good way of doing so, because 100%, right, of those 1,000 are going to have a criminal record. But if you look at the average American in a city like Allen, Texas, the average American in the city of Allen, Texas is going to be less violent than the average illegal immigrant. And if Texas is the number one, because I think Allen, Texas has a, 92 for every 100,000 murders. That's the per capita murder rate or rate of violent crime. This is actually exactly the number that the study out of Texas pulled for illegal immigrants and their rate of crime per capita. So if you're then taking a sample like a city like Allen, Texas, or a smaller city in Texas, you're more likely actually when you have illegal immigrants in those kind of communities that are not on average more violent, like the more metropolitan areas where we don't necessarily know these illegal immigrants are going to be flooding. They're probably actually, if they're going into agricultural labor, as many of them do, they are likely staying in rural areas. Those rural areas on average have crime rates that are lower than the average rate of crime for the average illegal immigrant. That's the important value here. And I kind of get into this. It's like, look, there is no cookie cutter American. You're not throwing these illegal immigrants into the average Texas. There is no average Texas. There are cities in Texas that have wildly different rates of crime depending on how populous they are, depending on what the demographics of the city are. Like we mentioned, black people commit a disproportionate amount of that crime. If you put an illegal immigrant into a community of entirely, that's entirely black, yeah, they're going to commit less crime than the rest of the neighborhood because the rest of the neighborhood commits a disproportionate amount of crime compared to the rest of the population per capita, right? But when you have illegal immigrants that have this rate of crime of, I think, 9.2 per 1,000 or 92 per 100,000 or whatever it is.
Even that's like almost certainly an undercount.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because a lot of this crime is not even being reported. Although Texas does something different in their data gathering, which is why these studies have been conducted there. It's almost certainly, like you said, an underrepresentation, or it underrepresents the amount of violent crime being perpetrated by illegal immigrants. But nonetheless, the rate of crime of illegal immigrants per capita is higher than in the neighborhoods where they likely are going to be living. What does that mean? It means that the average illegal immigrant, yes, relative to where they will be living and to the communities they will be in, is going to be committing more crime. Which means that the argument he's making is irrelevant to the average rural Texan voter. Now, look, if you live in Dallas, if you live in El Paso, yeah, the rate of violence is much higher. If you live in, Nashville, or no, not Nashville, what are these, Memphis. If you live in Memphis, Tennessee, yeah, you're going to have less violence if you import illegal immigrants. But that's not the way that immigration works. You can't just take a statistic and throw it at this average and say, well, the average is going to decrease. There will be more Lake and Rileys because there are more illegal immigrants in Texas. And that's the problem.
Aced.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just the thing I wish I could have said to him, but I got voted out in a super cringe way. Anyway, we'll keep watching.
Entire life.
And none of them will commit violent crime
Donald
the way
Trump
that illegal
throughout his
immigrants
entire life is somebody who has abused every power dynamic available to him to prey on girls. Would you let your daughter in the Mar-a-Lago spa if it were 2001?
No, I
Wait a
stay
minute,
away
but
from
Trump
those
is supposed to be safe. Trump's Mar-a-Lago spa isn't safe.
You're drawing these equivalencies between a property that an individual owns, what occurs on that property, and a condoning of it.
And this is honestly, this is straight up where I lose because I have to defend Trump. I hate to like put it that way, but it's like I just get cornered into talking about Trump. And if I was able to just talk about immigration, it's like if we could talk about ideas and not just a single freaking guy, we would be so much further.
That's where they should do. That's where they should allow the tag. All right, they're talking about Trump. Marty, get in.
Yeah, literally. All right, get him in here. We need Marty. Yeah. We need Marty Supreme. Cobra Kai taps out. Marty Supreme taps in.
That is an
exactly.
false equivalency. Okay, show me how do those two comments relate to each other?
When Donald Trump said in 2003, Jeffrey Epstein likes him young.
I'm looking for a clear consistency.
Okay, let me finish. Donald Trump says in 2003, Jeffrey Epstein likes him young. That happened, right?
Oh, wait, what is that?
Wait,
what
did
is
that happen? Let me finish. Did that happen?
Sure.
Okay, 3 years earlier, Virginia Giuffre was groomed out of his spa by Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump held private parties in the 90s where him and Jeffrey Epstein, just those two, had 20 calendar girls. You can look this up. I hope there's one on screen.
Were any of them
calendar
14?
girls? Okay, what about the 15-year-old girls that Donald Trump walked in on in his dressing rooms? I mean, no one here.
Again,
I've
this
had
is
3 people say they wouldn't let their daughter around Trump. 3 people say they wouldn't let their daughter around Trump.
I wouldn't let my daughter around Joseph Biden.
That's
it's again,
fine.
this
And neither would Adam Mockler, by the way.
Defending Biden, I don't care.
You don't have to defend a thing. You haven't staked out a position.
Biden.
Yeah, well, it's it's the same clip from
You've
earlier.
easily admitted that once we change the framing to talk, for example, about things that are more relevant to the average
Here's
American.
the problem.
For instance, the average person who is living in Texas, right? The way that these
This
people are
I make a rhetorical mistake. It's not true to say the average person living in Texas, but if I would have said the average person living in a rural Texas town, then it would have been true.
feel the effects of migration are not as an average. There is no cookie cutter average
The
American.
study was done in Texas.
Hold on, I understand that. That's why I'm citing the study.
It's
That's
the
why I
highest
mentioned
immigration
Texas.
state. Yeah.
Here's the point.
And also, just if we're talking, and unfortunately, that's where I get cut off.
Yeah,
But
immediately. But here's the point.
Yeah, literally. But if I was able to flesh this out, it's like, look, dude, even if this is true, every single crime committed by an illegal immigrant is a crime that is avoidable. And past that, if we're vetting people to become, permanent residents in this country, the standard should not just be, do they commit less crime than like our most crime-ridden cities? It should be, are they committing less crime than like the average Asian immigrant? Like, that's what it should be. It's like, do you commit crime like the average Asian immigrant, or do you commit crime just a little bit under like the national average? Because the national average is a composite of a lot of people that commit way more crime than we would ever want in this country. So the idea alone that they commit less crime than the average is not one that I like. That's not an argument that should convince us. It's like, oh, we're settling for just a little bit below the average. Okay, that's great. No, we want this country to be better. We want this country to be much better. We don't want it to be violent. And the argument should not be they're just a little bit less violent than the average.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point earlier, like we don't like the crime that they commit is substantially worse than a crime that and just an actual U.S. citizen commits, because they shouldn't be here. They shouldn't have even had the opportunity to commit the crime in the first place. So and like the extension of this logic that that illegals commit less crime than citizens is that okay, so then we should just let them stay. Like, to your point, like you just said, actually no. Like if you want to make that claim, then you're going to need to prove that they are committing an acceptable amount of crime, that they are committing substantially less than like the least violent group. Like that's actually the standard that you need to have, which is a standard that I don't think even the watered down numbers meet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like, look, that might fly in Texas. It's not going to fly in Utah, dude. So anyway, we'll keep
really
going.
good, man. Thanks,
Appreciate it, man. Likewise, it's good to meet you.
And let's jump to yours, and then we'll wrap up after your total destruction of them.
Yes.
Which do you want to see? Do you want to see your final one or this one? I think the first one's better.
Yeah, first one's better. I mean, the second one's more relevant to what we're talking, but I think this is a little change of pace.
Yep, good.
So,
Hi, it's good to meet you.
great to meet you.
Martin, nice to meet you.
Martin, I'm Adam.
Perfect.
So chipper, bro. You already chipper mog him like crazy, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Love it. You guys kind of have similar fits too. That's what I like.
It was funny. I was watching I was watching Destiny stream last night just to see his reaction to it, and people in the chat were like, bro, for the last part, like, bro really chose the Pokemon evolved version of himself. I was lucky cackling myself now.
That's so based. Yeah. Who are you? I'm you, but stronger.
Yes.
What I want to talk about is, because we already established, kind of the golden age is a wide range of time.
Sure.
More so talking about
The
time
golden
period.
part.
Well, yeah, I'm saying for the age, we're talking about this entire Trump presidency, and
Do
really,
you think
after
we're in a
that.
golden age, like he claims?
I think we're entering one, and I think
That was great
kind of
framing,
what
by the
indicator
way.
Yeah.
showing
So
that?
what I want to talk about is more so instead of
indicators
kind of moving
showing that
off
we're
of the
entering a
tariffs,
golden age?
talking about the biggest aspect of the Trump's economic presidency, which is the one big beautiful bill.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I assume you're against the one big beautiful.
And just pause here real
yeah,
quick.
certain parts.
Like that should be the framing that Republicans use is move off of the tariff argument and move on to the one big beautiful bill argument. Because in reality, the tariffs actually really aren't a huge part of the Trump economic presidency. I know it seems like that mainly because there's a huge
Liberation Day.
kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Kerfuffle around Liberation Day and all that. But the vast majority of those tariffs have been rolled back. Like the tariffs were like that whole rollout was mainly just used as a leveraging tool, not actually like U.S. policy. And that can really be seen in the numbers, because if you had a tariff regime where you actually did just have a straight up 25% tariff across the board, Democrats are kind of right in this, in that you would probably see inflation under that, because you're just really raising the price of production. The fact that we haven't seen inflation, in fact inflation has gone down, is really good evidence that we actually aren't in this broad tariff regime because it's mainly for negotiation, not for actual U.S. policy. The actual policy that has been affected by the Trump admin is the One Big Beautiful Bill, and mainly the tax cuts within the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Medicaid stuff, and that we get into. That's good sprinkles on top. But the main thing was that if Trump didn't get elected, the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would not have been extended.
Yep.
Like just full stop. They can say, oh, we support the middle class tax cuts. They would not have done that because that is the bulk of where the increased deficit comes from that they love to cite in response to the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Like that is the bulk of the Trump economic presidency that we should be debating. So they want to talk about tariffs. We can talk about it for a brief second, but we really should shift the framing as a party back onto the tax cuts and the really change of economic policy that we had in this bill.
Yeah, and this is, in my opinion, this is what you excelled at. This is why you killed it, is because you were policy minded. You knew the details, you knew the policy proposal, and you're right. It's like the tariffs are going to be something that Adam is going to have some study memorized for. But what you can dive into with the policy is not going to be something that he's prepared for because it falls outside of the 24-hour news cycle. So
exactly.
And to be fair, it's like this isn't profound research. Like this is stuff that's available. If you're paying attention, you'll realize it, but it's not the juicy stuff. It's not the sexy stuff, but it is what's going to win. So
it's the stuff that actually matters. Like it's not the thing that's in the headline. Like I'm not even like a huge like research nerd. I'm not going to sit there and read the entire One Big Beautiful Bill and 10 analysis of it.
Yeah.
But just knowing what the policies actually are that people are talking about. Like if you just know what the policies are, we're going to win debates.
100%.
For sure. Okay, for sure. So I think the biggest part of it is the extension of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Are you pro or against that?
Great point.
I mean, that's fine.
And perfect question. Just are you pro or against?
Fine, but it depends on the context around it. So what Donald Trump did is permanently extend the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act tax cuts, and that disproportionately benefits the richest of the rich. But at the same time, like I said, at the same time, he cut social safety nets for people at the very, very bottom. And you know what the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act says? Wait, really quickly. If you look it up, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act over the next few years will lead to hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of children losing free lunch at schools, while it also allows billionaires to now write off private jets. Now, none of us in this room benefit from having a private jet, right?
Let's touch on that. So let's touch on the first part. You said that most of the tax cuts are concentrated, within the top 20.
Disproportionately, I wouldn't say most. Yeah.
Well, sure. So 60% of the tax, so 60% of income earners actually do get tax cuts under the One Big Beautiful Bill, under the extension of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Specifically, the median American family would have seen a tax hike of $1,800 a year should the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
And I'm glad they extended that.
Exactly. Pause right here.
So,
and that's the framing we need to use of because a lot of people in this next tax cycle will say my taxes were relatively unaffected. Maybe they went down a little bit just because of the new provisions with deductions. But the analysis that needs to be done is, okay, if we didn't extend it, then what would have happened? Because if Trump didn't get elected, that's what would have happened. Your taxes would have gone up. So the level of comparison needs to be, all right, what percentage of the income are you paying now versus what percentage of your income were you paying in 2016?
Yeah.
Because that's the actual level of analysis that matters here. And he brings up this point also. I didn't bring this up kind of in episode because it's more of a broad concept. Or it's not a more relevant concept to this, but like the reason that you see disproportionate tax cuts for the rich and them getting more money off in taxes is because they pay more in taxes, right? Like I think it's I forgot what the exact number is, but I think it's that the top 1% I think pay 42% of all federal income taxes. So yeah, actually the top 1% are going to get more than 1% of the tax breaks in the One Big Beautiful Bill because we have a progressive tax system where they were already paying more.
Exactly. No, and this is one of those things where, I don't know, it takes me back to 2020 when we were doing the talking points about like socialism versus capitalism. But it is true.
Yeah.
It's like there's just so much economic production or stimulus being produced by this small minority. And you're right. It's like if they are being taxed progressively, we can only expect that we're also going to see what looks like favoritism occurring because it's unfavoritism in the status quo. So, Anyway, we'll jump back in.
Yeah. Real quick. Not to be like, not even that we as a movement need to be like super boring or anything. Like me myself, I'm actually more of an immigration guy than I'm an econ guy. But it is still important for us as Republicans, conservatives, to, like, still eat our vegetables sometimes.
Yes,
right? Like
absolutely.
We still need to be grounded sometimes in some of this important stuff.
100%. And that's, I got to brush up because it's been so long since I've had to talk about this stuff. I've debated Republicans for so long, trying to like push us further conservative, that now it's like a Democrat comes up and they're like, I want, socialized healthcare. And I'm like, whoa, I'm going to have to like, boot up, the single payer, healthcare arguments that I had. From
let me pull up this doc real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. All right.
I said the context matters. When you're extending that, but you're removing social safety nets and allowing billionaires to write off private jets. Listen, people in this room will benefit a lot more.
He hits his dialogue tree. He said this twice now. He said, well, the context matters and private jets. And these are, that is his dialogue tree.
From like kids getting free lunches than writing off private jets. I don't see anyone in this room.
Let's talk about the social safety net part, though. So the best example the left always brings up is cuts to Medicaid. The actual most prominent cut that we made to Medicaid was instituting work requirements of 20 hours a week.
They tried this exact thing in Arkansas.
By the way, you framed it. Like, you established the framing. I love that. So good, dude.
And this is just in general, because it's not even a particularly savvy debate trick that we as conservatives or right wing people need to do. It's just make them argue something specific. And I say this later, like the left loves to argue in abstracts. Like he said there, he tried to establish the framing right before this of, pretty much saying that Trump is just for the rich because, airplanes, tax write-off versus, social safety net cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's actually dive in. Like what does that really mean? Like what is the actual claim being made here? What are the cuts? Because once you get into that debate, they are going to lose. Because Republicans just generally have better economic policy because we are more pro free market. And I know free market,
it's true.
It's a means to an end. We shouldn't be religiously pro free market, but generally that's generally what has kind of made America such a economic powerhouse, and that's what our party is based around economically. So get them to debate specifics because they will lose every time.
100%.
Kicked 18,000 people off of their Medicaid.
Yeah,
and after
I would say that if someone isn't working, then they shouldn't be getting health care.
No, but these were 18,000 people who had increased barriers to get Medicaid. And what happens is these people who are vulnerable already.
The barriers of seeking a job.
No, it's not just that. Yeah. It kicks people off because the barriers become so hard. People with jobs can still get it. But the problem is, listen.
Well, what are the barriers that are so hard?
The problem is when it comes to this, with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, with that, the barriers for Medicaid. Sorry, 1 second.
No, okay, so it's like you said
that
there,
was
what are the barriers that are so
sick.
hard besides getting a job?
That was sick.
Yeah, and I will say IRL too. Not to break the Jubilee contract too much, but IRL there was like a little 5-second pause in there too.
No,
so
real.
Just yeah.
Dude, W pause. The pause is crazy. That's the end.
I was sitting there, it's like, all right, so we need a Loki. So should we resume the conversation?
Yeah,
but
no, that was crazy. You just kind of looked. I remember that. You're just kind of looking around, like, we're gonna go, dude.
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just what I was talking about, right? Like make them focus on specifics. Like make them actually make a claim.
Yep.
Because most of the time they're not actually making a claim. They're just trying to. And you'll see right after this, he tries to get around to. I think it was. No tax on tips and the ending period on that. But make them actually make a claim and stick to it.
And dude, the ending period, he tried to adopt your framing, did not work out.
We have to go work 20 hours a week. There's already a qualification in there that if you're disabled.
We'll go back a sec so there's more
Medicaid.
Context.
Sorry, 1 second.
No, okay, so it's like you said barriers. What are the barriers that are so hard besides getting a job where you have to go work 20 hours a week? There's already a qualification in there that if you're disabled, then that doesn't apply to you. I mean, what are these barriers? The left always speaks in these abstracts.
These platitudes.
Actually, what are the barriers?
The increased barriers are when people are vulnerable and already working part-time, and then you cut them off of Medicaid. Yes, people can get Medicaid with this, but the problem is when 18,000 people, like in Arkansas, are kicked off of their Medicaid.
Who weren't working part-time.
No, the 18,000 people were kicked off of their Medicaid because they couldn't get access to it. What happens then is that they have to dig into their social safety. They have to dig into their.
So how do they not get access then?
Because the barriers are increased.
What are the barriers? The only barrier you listed, the only barrier we talked about is work requirements, and that's working 20 hours a week.
Yeah, but it's the work requirements increasing is just, it's not. So wait, can you concede?
So we agree.
And everybody noticed there that he
immediate pivot. Yeah,
immediate pivot. That was just
increasing
it was so blatant.
Is just it's not. So wait, can you concede?
So we agree. Work requirements are a good thing. We can find common ground.
Can you concede?
That was based magnanimity. Yeah. So we can find common ground. I love that.
Yeah, immediately moves on.
So good.
Wait, listen. Can you concede that what the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act does is it permanently decreases taxes for the richest of the rich, but then it but it also temporarily gives no tax on tips. Do you know that part?
Yeah, the no tax on tips.
But that's temporary. So what it's like?
There's a cutoff on it because you always want to like test out.
Okay,
tax
wait a minute.
Which is the reason why the original program had an expiration date.
Wait. Let me bring this back. So the permanent tax cuts for the richest. I'm
so happy.
Yeah. See the reaction in the back.
Let me bring this back. So the
that's how I can know if a point was good or not based off your reaction in the back.
Dude, it was so good. That was my finally we have our gladiator. It's finally somebody's able to go toe to toe with Adam.
Wait,
because we already did that. We already had the trial program.
They don't have an expiration date, but you have an expiration date for the things that are going to help them. Why is there an expiration date for the people who are the most vulnerable?
It's a trial program, and the tax cuts for everyone were made permanent.
I love it. You're what am I supposed to say?
Yeah. No, exactly. Because his implication there is why are we having a cutoff for the poor but not for the rich? It's like, brother, the reason we did this, this big bill is because we had a cutoff for the thing that you said is for the rich. That's the whole reason for this debate right now.
No, and then what I love so much, just this beautiful moment. First of all, there's this concession that Trump's policy is great for the lowest income earners. But tax on tips, this super good thing, there's a limit. It's it wasn't even proposed before Trump. What are you talking about? There was
that was literally Trump's campaign promise.
Exactly.
Like the OG promise.
Yeah, it's but you're winning. It's got an expiration date. It's if you vote him out of office, it's so I just thought that was
elect us again, we'll extend it.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. It's so good.
Tax cuts for everyone are made permanent. Why would you not make the tax cuts permanent? You know when they end? They end right as Trump's leaving office. So this is what it's like.
Yeah,
that's just bro.
It's waving $100 bill in front of somebody's eyes while giving thousands of dollars to the richest of the rich.
Move up to the early part.
Waving $100 bill in front of somebody's eyes while giving to the richest of the rich. What? This is coming from the guy who is of the party of welfare expansion, stimulus, literally just giving people money at every turn. I think the most impeachable thing concerning Trump in this respect is the platinum plan of billions of dollars to the black community. Maybe that's waving
or the first stimulus
bill.
package, I think.
Yeah,
the first stimulus package was.
Yeah, I'll be fair. I'm actually not anti-stimulus. I thought I thought it totally worked. I thought it was based.
Oh. Marty Supreme Kai debate incoming.
No, but it's really, it is so funny to me that he's Trump's waving $100 bill in front of people's faces. Yeah. Dude, you guys are literally at every turn, the Democratic Party is offering expansion of welfare benefits to every single group, but the people who vote Republican. And Trump is okay, well, I'm just going to give tax breaks. Sure, maybe rich people vote more Republican than Democrat. There's also far fewer of them. It's he's appealing to a much smaller base that is not going to provide the same electoral value as when Democrats are offering welfare and Medicaid and Medicare expansion to millions and millions of people, and especially to immigrants. Who do you think is voting for, or who do you think is in favor of, giving felons a right to vote, lowering the average or lowering the legal age of voting? What's the next one? Oh, who do you think is arguing for more immigration, knowing that the vast majority of immigrants vote Democrat? Come on. We're talking about waving money in front of people's faces. Do you hear yourself?
Yeah, well, and even on that point too, I think it's I think the numbers are the top 1% votes Republican, but the top 10%, and again, fact check me on this if you want, but I'm pretty sure this is true, that the top 10% actually votes substantially more Democrat than Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So the implication from mainly you're looking at people in New York, just your basic millionaires in the top 10%. And it's like this implication by Adam that Trump's trying to do this as sort of a quid pro quo for people that don't even vote for him is just asinine.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so real. And then you get just into the basic distinction just of the language where it's like, so he's talking about waving money in front of people's faces, like what, their own money, like the money that they earn. It's like what he's doing is he's lowering the taxes. He's not going to be taking money from them. Democrats literally want to give you money that is not your own. Like Democrats literally are in favor of giving you money that you did not earn. So yeah, that was
not to get too Shapiro coded here, but there is actually a difference between like the deficit going up from not taking enough, like not taking more of your money than just from like recklessly spending.
Exactly, bro. So real.
Can you concede again that we're requirements?
Dude, you look like you're about to explode him. We need an edit. Somebody make a Marty edit.
Can we
where where you have lightning shooting out of your hands, bro.
Face red. And I will say for everyone watching, I think you can test this. It is hot as all like HE double hockey sticks.
It's brutal,
like,
bro.
It is crazy.
It is so brutal in that studio, man. It is so bad. Like I get worried about my pits. I get really worried that that it's gonna be bad optics. No, but yeah, that was just, you look so base there. There's a couple where I'm like in the background, I look like I'm trying to like blow him up with my mind, like explode him.
Please do those just like the white eyes and like the lasers pointed. Yeah,
literally, dude.
Concede again that requirements are good for medication.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Awesome. So you support Donald Trump on that?
No,
great to know.
I don't
that was
support,
great.
No, listen.
Great rhetorical framing.
When you sat down, I said the context matters. The context of permanent tax cuts.
By the way.
Wait, do you?
Actually, so
like what does that actually mean?
If you could have it your way, would the no tax on tips be permanent or?
If it works out, then I want to make it permanent, which we will.
If you had it your way, would the no tax on tips be permanent now in the big beautiful bill, or do you think that them expiring right as Trump leaves office is a good thing?
I want to make sure that they work and then make them permanent. I want to make sure that we don't need to expand it. I want to actually have a sound public policy.
Why do you think Trump made them not permanent?
I've already said this 3 times. Because when you ever have a new program, you need to try it out. You need to have a trial period, which is why the 2017 TCJA had a cutoff time. So, and let's talk about, you bring up taxes on the richest Americans.
Yeah.
So I assume like I said, you're opposed to the Trump's tariffs.
The Trump tariffs, yeah.
Okay, why?
The Trump tariffs for a few reasons.
Or just tariffs in general. Why are you opposed to tariffs?
I'm not opposed to tariffs in general. As I've said, there are ways to do targeted tariffs, but when Donald Trump got into office, he placed tariff on every single country except for North Korea and Russia. I find that pretty weird. But listen, I want to ask you, after 9 months of North Korea and Russia, I find that pretty weird. But listen, I want to ask you.
Oh, dude, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking, but that's so funny.
Okay, pause here too, and because I didn't get Deuce in the debate because my dialogue tree didn't work. Adam didn't go where I thought where I didn't think he was going to go, but like this is it's such a double standard that Democrats have when it comes to tariffs, because the argument that they always give is at its core that tariffs are going to raise the price of production. And that that's going to give businesses less money to reinvest, and like that stuff, and that because that stuff's going to get more expensive and less people are going to have jobs. That's their logic tree. And at its core, that is literally just Reaganomics.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what that is. That is like base level macroeconomics. So it is just so hilarious to me that every single time tariffs get brought up or just anything Trump related, like Democrats just turn into like the most staunch ideological Reaganites that we've ever seen.
Dude.
And like
to the point, by the way, to the point where Canada, this is a story I covered a couple of weeks back or months back. Canada literally ran ads using Reagan talking about tariffs in order to say Trump's being anti-American. It's like, oh my goodness, dude.
No, exactly. And look, like I am generally pro tariff. Like I think that there's actual concessions that you can make temporarily for prices going up because you want long term for goods to be in America and for Americans to have jobs.
Infrastructure,
like that's an actual argument.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. That's an argument we can have. But like, don't let the Democrats get away with like this BS framing that they don't use any other point. Because then when we go talk about corporate taxes and suddenly the narrative just completely flips. Suddenly like, oh, macroeconomics as a field just doesn't exist when it comes to corporate taxes. Like. And
so
it's such a double standard.
Absolutely. No, it's real. It's the talking points rather than the ideas.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
So we're talking about cutting taxes for the richest Americans and all Americans. The reason why that's actually a good thing is because you want people investing more money, especially right now when we're seeing an AI revolution, which is about to make our country exponentially.
You understand that? Wait, let me make this point.
Why,
I gotta make this
the House
point.
Republicans and President Trump have projected that it's actually not going to grow the
I gotta make this point. Tariffs are a regressive tax on the people who earn the lowest. Well, so right now,
all a tariff is a sales tax. That's literally all it is.
Okay,
it's a sales tax on foreign goods.
Listen, low-income earners necessarily spend more of their income on consumption, right? So when you're spending more of your income,
this rhetoric. Just as an aside, I hate the rhetoric that this is a tax on poor people. It's like not necessarily. It's like literally no. It's like, yeah, maybe in some ways it's gonna be felt more by people who are earning less. Yeah, but the goal is to reindustrialize America and provide jobs. No, not to the 1%, but to the people that have been
to the average American.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Consumer goods, you are going to be hit by these taxes harder. Meanwhile, the richest of the rich are getting tax cuts, are getting all of this. The richest of the rich are disproportionately benefiting from this.
So wait, they make a disproportionate amount of money. That's just a stupid argument.
Exactly. So just real quick, if they're paying 35% in their tax bracket, I'm paying 20. Yeah, I think that their taxes should be lowered by a larger, raw number than mine, probably. Yeah. Actually,
no, literally, I'm being progressive. It's a progressive tax cut.
Can you concede
that the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act being extended will put more money?
Can you concede
what's this fact check? I don't know if I've read this yet. According to the Peterson Institute for International Economics, while high income earners, top 1 and top 20%, may see net gains because their tax savings are substantial enough to offset higher prices, middle and lower income families are projected to face a net financial loss of over $1,000 annually.
And the way they get there, and I know of that study. There's other ones that back up what I would say. That study's bad because it first of all went from Trump's baseline. I think went from baseline of a 25% across the board tariff, which I think Trump said at some point he ended up doing a 10% baseline economic tariff. And it also just assumes crazy inflation that we just did not see, with the tariffs at all. And the main reason for that is that you're not just going to see inflation as a result of tariffs. They're not just going to one-to-one raise prices. There's going to be other things that they do, because if you raise prices too much, just no one will buy your goods.
Real.
So it was just really bad analysis there that they did.
100% real.
No, that is not true.
Yes, that absolutely is true.
Can you concede that lower?
Here, we'll go back a little bit.
Fact checking the fact check.
Let's go. Brought to you by the College Republicans. Let's flip and go.
Yes. The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act being extended will put more money.
Can you
into the
concede that lower income
will take out?
No, that is not true.
Yes, that absolutely is true.
Can you concede that lower income earners?
This, by the way, they're fact checking. I don't know does this study even account for the gain from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act being extended?
No, that's the other thing. No, it doesn't account for the amount that GDP will be increased from it, and because this is something that's hard to account for, because obviously when you produce more stuff gets cheaper.
Yeah.
So it doesn't account for the GDP increase that'll come with it, and as a result, the cheapening of goods.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a slimy fact check, because your claim is not that in a vacuum as a result of the tariffs, people are the average middle American or middle income American is going to be making more money. Your claim is that the economic the negative economic effects felt or sustained because of the tariffs are going to be offset by the economic growth, and especially the money retained by middle income families. This fact check does not fact check the point you're making. It's just an attempt to try and own Republicans. I despise the way that fact checking is the guise for just being liberal. That's literally what it is.
No, literally. I don't think and not to dog on Jubilee too much, because I think that they're actually generally good when it comes to platforms and stuff. But I don't think I've ever seen a fact check that they've ever done that is a pro Republican fact check. I've actually just never seen them do one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad, dude. It's bad. I think they used to. They actually used to be a little bit better.
Are disproportionately benefiting.
Yeah, I don't think they're awful. But again, this is why you have the College Republicans fact check. That's why you have to have it.
Maybe that's the next branch that we need to do here.
Dude, yes, bro. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, real. We're gonna take Snopes out of the freaking game.
More time. So lower income earners necessarily spend a
when we bring jobs back, they're going to be disproportionately.
When are they going to bring jobs back? Jobs have been
tariffs take a while to kick into effect. You need to have trade deals. You need to have the tariffs actually raise.
How many trade deals do we have?
Goods. We've done one with the UK. We've done some with the EU. We're working on some with India.
Are these actually papered up?
I mean, it takes more than 3 months to negotiate a massive trade deal.
Donald Trump said 90 deals in 90 days. What do you mean it takes more than 3 months?
How many? Of course, he's going to have a soundbite like that.
Time out.
I also hate that framing too. I did another Jubilee episode, not to spoil too much because I don't know if this goes against the contract, but like there was a guy in the middle who was saying that like the Trump economy is failing because Trump promised to lower gas prices by half, and they haven't been lowered by half. They've only been lowered by like 5%, and it's just such disingenuous framing to hold the standard of success to an obvious just like this pitchy campaign slogan that a politician uses.
Yeah.
Like actually no, like let's think about this pragmatically. Trade deals take a lot of time. It's actually a really big accomplishment that we've already had. I think at this point it's 3 or 4 trade agreements negotiated with countries, which usually take a lot longer than a month. Like that's actually a huge accomplishment that we should give the president credit for, rather than just like holding him to some arbitrary standard because he said that because it sounded cool.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the crazy things, like, and I don't even know, like, I don't know how it is around the country. The gas prices in Utah, and I don't know all the variables, so I don't want to speak too much about it because I don't know all the economic, variables at play here. In Utah, They've dropped by a whole $1. Like, it was $3 when I got home from my mission, or more, like up to $3.20. It's like in some parts of Utah, $1.90. Like, it's actually crazy.
Well, it's about to go down a lot more too,
dude. Real, yeah. Once we get all that crude oil, dude,
yes,
so hyped, man. Yeah, in Fillmore, Utah is like $2. I'm paying $2.50 in most of the places where I'm going around in Utah. California, I mean, you guys have it rough.
We're finally below $4.
Let's go.
I know that sounds like a foreign concept around the country, but when I saw the gas price and it was below 4, I was like, wow, like we have made it.
Yes.
We are back.
Golden age. Yeah. But anyway,
yes.
I love the way that you explain this. And yeah, it is obviously a campaign slogan. And obviously a lot of these things, they're said campaigning and then you try to implement them to the best of your ability. You're thwarted in many ways. But even the way that we have attempted to renegotiate trade with China, for instance, the fact that we've had breakthroughs there is very impressive, honestly. So yeah. I think, there is a lot of good, honestly, to be said about the Trump economy. It is one of the things that is actually holding up better than certain issues that he's campaigned on. So yeah. Hey,
certainly.
Dude, I think we'll leave it there because we've already been going about 2 hours. But
perfect.
Is there anything else you'd like to get to before we wrap up?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for having me on the show and kind of doing all this here. That was a great reaction, and I mean, I thought the episode generally was great. Like, of course, there were some people who were doing as good, but no, I think Adam got owned a couple of times. I think you owned him. We had a good college Republican mogging, but yeah, but like I said, just in general, to anyone watching who maybe is going to like start doing more debates, like I said earlier, start holding the left to their actual claims,
100%.
Push back on what they are saying, and make them stake a claim. Because when it's idea versus idea, we will always win.
Absolutely. And hey, Marty, where can people find you? Where do you want them to see you?
Yes, yeah. So people can, if you want to support me, go follow my X. It's at Martin Bertao, first name Martin, then last name Bertao, and then same thing for the Instagram.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much. Seriously, I think this was one of the best Republican victories. I think the only other Republican victory that has been so substantial. There were some good ones in the Tim Miller episode, actually. He was not super strong. But I would say Adam Mockler is one of the best debaters that the left has had on. I think Mehdi Hassan's probably, and I'm saying this I'm a little biased. I think he's probably the best. He's got credentials to back him up. He literally wrote a book about debate, but Adam Mockler is up there. And I will say, we've been saying it throughout the show, just as credit to him, this is a guy who afterwards, shook our hands, talked to us, was very genuine. I saw him later at the UNF America tour. He recognized me, was like, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Like, we flicked up, we got a photo. This is a guy who I genuinely do have a lot of respect for, and he's fun. He has a total chud physiognomy, so he's totally awesome. So spiritually, we already are inclined to be on the same team. We're just trying to win him over. But yeah, I thought it was a great debate. I really enjoyed being there behind, watching you go at it and have those go off moments. So I'm excited to see more from you with this debate tour coming up in the next 2 months. But hey,
likewise,
Marty,
brother.
Great to be with you, friend. Adios.
You too, man. Have a good one.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was awesome. That was a really fun time. Seriously, Marty is a guy that just watching it, I was super impressed with what he was doing. I was seriously like watching it. I was hoping that we would have somebody that would just totally mog, and he totally did. He absolutely and totally mogged. And I'm so happy to have been able to chat with him about that. 100% go follow this guy on social media. Legend. And love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys for the super chats. Let's who are we talking? Who's not fun in group chats? What are you guys saying? Kai cheesing in the background. W show, he's fun, just not in group chats. Who, Marty? He's the type to leak chats? No, not the case. Do not compare him with Gavin Wax. Anyway, hey, Tice, good to see you in the chat. Oh my goodness, Tice 4M. Love to see you. Yeah, there, Latter Day Base, thank you for linking his ex there in the chat. Ooh. What song are we going to play for our outro? I got it. Hey, trust me, I got it. And let's see, did we get any super chats? So, who was it that was saying that Sneeko was on Sneeko stream? Somebody was talking about me. Nors was saying that. Yo, let's go. Everyday Elizabeth? Girl? Is that a girl in the chat? What the?
Everyday Elizabeth sent $10.
Yo, thank you, Everyday Elizabeth. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the 10 W's in the chat. I'm upset I missed you reacting. Sorry, Madison. You're watching the actual vid. That's valid. The actual vid kind of sucks. You're going to want to watch this breakdown afterwards. Will you be there all day at the U? I will not. I'm only going to be there for a couple of hours, probably closer to noon. So, yeah, that's the unfortunate. Okay, you know what? We built this city. That's a good request. I'm giving you a free song for that just because that's a super, it's not, wait. Did Chicago do a We Built This City? I thought that was Starship. Did Chicago do a version of it? No, it's Starship. It's Starship. Anyway, you should try to debate someone on the Venezuela operation. Like, oh, that actually would be a good idea. Oh, and especially at the campus. Yeah, 100%. 100% I'll do that. I'm 100% going to do that, dude. I need to figure out what the best rhetorical framing is on that. Because it's like, I just argue about it from a right-wing perspective against right-wingers. But against left-wingers, yeah, I'll have to figure out what the good approach is there. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Not going to lie. Very good idea. What's up with the comments pooping on your facial expressions? You were ultra-mogging. Yeah, I mean, they hate you for smiling. They hate white boys. They hate chipper white boys. They hate us for smiling. Vaped RL actually just posted a banger tweet. Says, one lesson Kai Schwemmer taught me in life is to be happy and jovial no matter the situation, and you always win for some reason. That is literally true. If there's a lesson that I could give you guys, that's the lesson. And also be virtuous. And also be physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Based. Connecticut AFer, I forgot to respond to this Rumble chat at the time, says, I love the illegal immigrants commit less crime argument. Even if I concede that, the difference is that we can prevent illegal immigrant crime by not allowing them into the country in the first place. Exactly. Precisely. And then the argument that they make is, well, what about tourists? Tourists commit more crime. Are we going to shut off all tourism? No. You have to think about this like an actual human being. Tourists are not attempting to become legal permanent residents. But if they had a child here, I'm not arguing that we make them an immediate citizen. You are. So, boom, checkmate. White boys can't catch a vibe? We totally can catch a vibe, actually. We can catch a vibe. They just don't want us to. But we totally can. So, yeah, let's see. Any more super chats come in? Thank you, Everyday Elizabeth. Thank you. Who else do we have here? James Tucker for subscribing on YouTube. Thank you, Asian Mormon. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's see. Blake B. We love Blake so much. What a chat. Brenosh. Thank you so much. Kreblub. Thank you, Kreblub. Is that King Nub? Kreblub, King Nub, could be. Asian Mormon, thank you. Andre Sardau for subscribing. Linda Prince for subscribing. And Asian Mormon, the GOAT of all time, once again, with the first super chat of the show. Thank you so much, bro. Total GOAT. Total GOAT. And then Connecticut AF for thank you as well. Now, I just want to see real quick. I just want to see. By the way, that video on X of Marty totally crushing it, I think is at almost 500,000 views now. Like, this guy deserves hype. Yeah, 450,000 views. This guy deserves all the hype in the world. This guy's killing it. And can we get a W in the chat for Asian Mormon? Can we get a W? W in the chat, please. That's a little racist. I should probably not be racist to him. He's like the George Soros of the thing. Yo! ¿Qué onda, carnal? ¿Cómo andamos, carnalito? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa, papá? ¿Cómo andamos? Yeah, this, Noors was saying, that he sent it to me on Instagram, but I don't see anything. I don't see a message about, okay, let me pull this up. This is on Twitch, he said. Let me see if we can find this. We're going to pull up Sneako's Twitch. W, thank you. Thank you, guys. Huge W's. Lovely Groipet in the chat. Whoa, what the? What the? Sussy, sussy. All right, let's look up Sneako. Maybe it's not here. Was it Kick? It's probably on Kick. I'll send you some Deseret shekels when I'm working again. Ooh, let's go. It's hard for a quirked up white boy out here. Hey, dude, I get it. I'm unemployed too. You guys are my source of payment, so I understand. I understand if a quirked up white boy is getting a little tight on cash. I've been there. I am there. Okay. Asian Mormon is a CCP money laundering scheme. Well, I hope he doesn't watch the episode from the other day. Oh, dude, you can't go back and see it? Is there an archive? There's got to be an archive of his videos. Bro, come on. You hate to see it. You hate to see it, dude. All right, well, guess we're not going to be able to see it, guys. I wonder if, I don't think there's any... I don't think there are any recent tweets about me concerning that. I wish somebody would have clipped this. Kai Schwemmer is a pure douche. My bad, but at least I'm pure. It's there? He goes live on YouTube now? Okay. Jim, let me know, Jim, if you find it. Because I got no clue what these people are talking about. Do you guys know Control-Shift-T opens the tab you recently closed? Isn't that goated? Oh, this is the wrong channel. This only has 928 followers. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong channel. There we go. There it is.
Good job, man.
Sneako and DJ Academic's desktop stream. He said they were at dinner, right?
His corner man.
Oh.
Where is this?
So why not just do it?
You don't
I
get
will.
it?
We'll share screen. We'll share screen.
I kind
so
of want
you
to
guys
avoid
see
it. It's just gonna be too much. See, you're already I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's too easy. It's too funny.
Okay, but dude, she should do it, right? I think it'd be funny enough. Jake said, "Yeah." Like,
yeah.
let him down.
If you want to come too?
What just
He's
happened?
coming.
Why can't I edit it anymore?
Good job, man. Yeah. Woo.
Yo, wait. You say how do you make money?
No, I mean, no. What? Yeah, but what's the meta on YouTube?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't like.
He's with a rabbi too.
I put a little Israeli flag up there too.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with it.
This is just like.
Either you do like.
Somebody has to find this for me, please. Oh, dude, you guys can't even see me? Yo, that's my bad, twin.
That's racist right there.
Dude, that's my bad, twin.
So when they come at, when they
Sorry about any swear words that you guys hear. That's my fault.
Nah, black people can't be racist. Come on, man.
W Kai. Hey, thanks, Alex
Stone.
Stone. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Ignorant to say that.
I appreciate you, Alex Stone.
Straight up.
What happens is that have to be measured. They look at you like super privileged, so you gotta be measured in disrespect.
Hold on. It's 8 hours long? Bro, come on. There's no way I'm going to find this.
So they can say anything about you.
Oh, so they can call me a
Supposedly
white
it's like
cracker.
when he sat down, though, right? Who is this guy next to Aiden
so
Moss?
I'm in Japan, and
There he is.
You know, I'm just hanging out. It's 1 a.m.
You got to unban my man from New York City, man. He back in the city. Yo, Sneaker got no pull out here. I don't even know why he rocking.
What are you talking about?
Okay, I swear, bro, if Noor heard Kai and thought that he was talking about me when he was probably talking about Kai Cenat, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
You stay in Jersey, you never come outside.
I can't wait.
I've been watching Nick Heavy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I fuck with him.
Yeah, of course. Should love everybody.
Is that me? Is that my stream?
You heard me?
Oh, wait.
You serious?
I've been watching Nick Heavy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I fuck with him.
See, he brought up politics. I'm steering away.
All right, let's have a nice talk.
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, you got canceled again?
No, I'm back. No more canceled.
For real?
We're both banned on Twitch, you know, but.
Oh, so you know with that red pill shit, huh?
I'll beat the Twitch ban. I'll beat the Twitch.
Are you drunk? Have you had something to drink?
By the way, he was talking about Kai Cenat. I knew it. Dude, I knew it. I'm gonna this Noor guy. Dude. I'm gonna bro, that's crazy. Yeah, so we didn't have to watch any of this actually, is what you're telling me actually. Hey, Holden, good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat, friend. Yeah, I'm excited to come to USU. Very hyped. Very hyped. I just got to make sure that I get the time. It's going to be tough because I'm in school too. Yeah, but it'll be sick. That tour is going to be epic. Reawaken tour. Be sure to be there if you're from Utah. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything. Let me just give a little info, maybe, perhaps. Isn't it interesting that Clavicular, who knows Kai Clips, who is an original viewer, who is day one Kai head, I don't know if he would say that, but he was watching my TikTok stuff way back when, and we've kept in touch. Isn't it interesting that Clav ends up on Michael Knowles? And then I'll just say maybe perhaps one of these three gentlemen, maybe perhaps in some future time. I've said too much. So anyway, hey, thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I love these. I love the tweets about me. I'm going to probably release a video tomorrow. Oh, by the way, to the viewers of the Gumroad, there is a new upload out now. There's a new upload out right now, and it's hilarious. Yo, Alex Stone Show, thank you for the 2 on Rumble. He says, you're a legend. I love you. I love you, Alex Stone. When is the Clavicular collab going to happen? He said this was before he blew up, so he might be too big. He might be too big now for good old Kai Clips. But he said that the next time we were together, we'd do content. This was months ago, though, after we hung out for the first time, and he had not yet blown up at all. So it's honestly probably not likely, but you never know. Maybe I can call in a favor. You never know. So never say never. Always be chipper, always be jovial. I did upload a new upload to the Gumroad. It is my portion of the debate, plus a funny little supercut edit of the Let me make sure it's up of this last Jubilee video. I really cracked myself up. I hope you guys enjoy it. I really cracked myself up while I was doing it. Here's the URL if anybody wants it. Either way, I can't wait for the future. The generational run continues. So true. The generational year. And let me double check. I did upload it. Okay, I did upload it. So it's my debate with Adam Mockler, and then it is also a little supercut at the end of reactions during the video, and it's funny. and I really cracked myself up editing it. And that's going to be out tomorrow on YouTube, but it's out right now already on Gumroad under the YouTube videos tab. So be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen and ladies, love you guys. I'll be seeing you very soon. Maybe tomorrow. Not totally sure yet if I'm going to be able to do a stream. But nonetheless, please keep yourselves safe. I love you guys. And we will listen to some very epic outro music requested by, I forget who it was in the chat, but they were right. But they were right. And it's going to be We built this city by a starship. Adios. I'll see you guys later. U-View tomorrow? No, it's going to be Thursday. U-View is Thursday. Oh, Wednesday. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many